and welcome to another episode of Sit and Discuss.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
I don't know. Wow.
Are you going for walking now? I thought you were going for like that one really weird voiced guy from the police movies.
What,
you know what I'm talking about?
Chris Rock?
No, the police series that had like 8 movies.
Oh.
And Police Academy, right?
Police Academy.
And there's the one dude that talks weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think he was the villain, like the first one, but then like an anime, but he was like the first villain of an anime, so he becomes like best buds from there on out.
Yeah, he does like the Vegeta thing.
Oh, that trope where the first, they even did it in One Piece. We're like, now we're gonna team up with Buggy the Clown for a scenario. I'm like, he's not just gone? What?
Oh no!
It always happens in some context at some point where you got to team up with the villain from the first arc later on.
Yeah, I mean, your first. Well, I mean, technically, the first villain in One Piece is like Captain Morgan, but
is he really named Captain Morgan?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're doing a jokey joke?
No, it's
not a jokey joke.
He is a Marine. He's captain in the Marines, Captain Morgan.
All right, so in this room we have a horrifying setup, which is that this phone, which has the better picture, is supposed to be recording us, but it failed us during the last P.O. Box thing. But
no one knows that.
Everyone knows that. But the same day recorded our 2-hour podcast, no problem.
Which happened after the P.O. Box opened.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
So that's terrifying. We're also recording a webcam this time, so we don't have a P.O. Box repeat where it's just a flat screen. But it looks terrible, and it's behind us, because the whole reason that the phone's over there is because the computer is not well set up for recording things. This is... The moment you try to do this, and you're not Rooster Teeth, you're like, holy shit, this shit's complicated.
Yeah.
It's expensive. And if you want to do it and make it look good, holy shit, there's a lot of steps to go through.
Even Game Grumps has like a separate streaming area they set up.
Yeah.
Was because like you can't just take a recording section and turn it into a streaming section, because it just isn't cohesive. You build this recording section to be as comfortable and convenient, as efficient as possible.
Everything's a mess and we don't know what we're doing.
But streaming needs to be like open and spacious, and needs to have room for lighting, and needs to have room for other people and microphones. It's like, you don't have to impress anybody with a recording area. You're just like, yeah, whatever. It has cameras and or it has a microphone, computers. Shut up, record. But
you trip every time you stand up. It's fine.
It's fine.
Just don't break anything when you do it.
But
everything's fine.
But when you're like trying to do like a podcast or any kind of like live action thing, the video becomes like, okay, well, you need to make sure the person looks like a person and not some weird mysterious black blob in a giant black screen. And oh no, everything doesn't work. Yeah, but so that, as you can see, that's why the camera is hoisted upon to the skies.
Can they see that in that? Because that webcam can see that camera, that phone sitting there, which they won't see,
but
unless it fails, and then in which case this whole camera angle looks wrong because your back's like. It's a backup recording, but not really a backup recording. It's a back recording. It's a back recording.
Good enough.
Got a first question from Mona Lisa asking a friendly little question: how much milk do you both drink on a weekly basis?
0.
Is this so? The moment they asked this last week before the podcast, and then they went to chat congratulating themselves for doing some sort of inside joke in the Discord chat, and I'm like,
wait, what? This is a joke on the inside? I'm on the outside.
They're like, hopefully one of them gets it, and I'm like, I don't.
I'm on the outside of this joke. Are you on the inside? We are both on the outside of this milk joke. I can assure you that I drink no gallons of the milk ever.
Meme failed.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
What about you?
You can't drink milk.
Yeah, I can't drink milk.
You literally can't drink milk, and I just don't acquire milk.
I don't acquire it. What is like an RPG quest? I did not acquire milk on this run.
I stopped eating cereal altogether a while ago.
Cereal's
just
bad. Yeah.
Arbitrarily, really.
It's a pain in the ass. It's a 2-step process. You might as well just get a 1-step process, which is put something in the microwave, cook it, get done. That's easier than milk and cereal.
I went through a period where I was like really into the chocolate and strawberry Special K blend, and I'm like, this is really nice, and also like way too much money for cereal, because Special K are like micro boxes when you're getting any of the flavor types that aren't just like flakes or something. Like they're weird micro boxes that are like 3 bowls, and it's like, this is not a good system, and I'm tired of going to the store, so I just stopped going to the store for that purpose.
I mean, it's reasonable. I think my sister still drinks milk, but she drinks it in such a slow amount. It's like usually for cereal, but she doesn't want cereal every day.
I hit a point where my primary use for milk was just coffee, but then I just got tired of buying milk for my coffee, so I just drank the coffee.
Yeah, my sister was the same way when she was younger, where she would drink coffee with milk and sugar and stuff, and then when she became an adult,
milk's great for coffee. It just instantly makes it taste better.
Yeah,
and it also helps cool it down faster.
Exactly.
So you're like, hey, this is scalding coffee that'll take 20 minutes to become drinkable, or little milk. Now it's drinkable in like 2 minutes and tastes 100 times better than black coffee.
Yeah, but then my sister got lazy and she was like, I don't want to go to the store because
just for your coffee.
Yeah,
additive.
just for your coffee. And she was like, I'll just drink it black. And so she just drinks black coffee, but still has milk for cereals.
Especially since I get coffee and it'll be like a 100 K-cup giant box. And I'm like, I don't need to buy these forever. Whereas milk, you have to buy all the fucking time.
Yeah. You can't just buy a surplus of milk and store it. Technically you can, because milk doesn't go bad for a pretty long time. But it's still like a pain in the ass.
You want to play that gambling game?
It's really not, Keith. It's pasteurized, which means it has like almost no bacteria in it. Mm-hmm. That's the point. We just bleach it. It's just bleached milk.
I've always been one of those paranoid people where I can't tell.
Smell it.
No, I think I've
smell or taste.
I'm starting to think I've just never smelled spoiled milk.
You literally probably have not, because your parents or yourself are so terrified of the concept. You throw milk out so quickly before it even has the chance to get.
I haven't really had a habit of throwing out milk, because whenever I drink milk, I just when it's around, I'm using it at usually a decent rate or something. But I've always been told about spoiled milk, and so I'm trying to smell it, and I'm like, I'm like, milk smells bad when you smell it out of a carton. Yeah, it smells like a bad thing.
Well, because you're smelling the plastic.
So you always kind of think that it's spoiled anyway.
Yeah,
because it's this isn't a pleasant smell.
See, no, you don't, because when you smell you smell truly rancid milk, it is unforgettable. You go, okay, I know today what bad milk smells like. And I've smelt it twice in my life. And I've never smelt it literally at a person's home.
I can just see the next Patreon nominations for what game to play. It'll be like Stardew Valley, Benny Foddy, Getty Ovary, and a bunch of other meme games, and Tokyo Jungle Literature Club. And then it'll be like
Tokyo Jungle Literature Club.
And then it'll be like smell spoiled milk.
That is like a combination it's like a combination of Nekojishi in a way I've never wanted ever. It's like Nekojishi
Nekojishi Undertale.
Yeah, it's like it's more like Nekojishi and what's it called? And Katawa Shoujo mixed together. It's like the same. It's just the two things combined.
You mean Katawa Shoujo?
There you go.
Puns.
It's over.
Puns.
Look how easy that was.
I did puns. My career's over now.
Coming to Steam in 2019.
Where's my $1 million?
Katawa Shoujo.
That went on for way too long.
Yeah, but
that was a milk question we didn't understand. And we talked about it for probably 10 minutes.
Good enough.
We're professionals.
At milk.
Yeah, specifically. Especially with how you can't drink it. And we'll never have it around.
Soy milk isn't the same thing. It comes from soy instead of cows.
I mean, you're the one that you play with fire every time we go to the theater, because you'll walk across the street to Starbucks and get a smoothie. And you can't have caffeine or milk, but you're getting products from a Starbucks. You're like, they'll get it right this time.
They usually do.
You try to get a green tea smoothie with no caffeine.
And no milk.
And just hope they don't fuck it up this time. And 1 hour into our recording sessions later on, you'll start showing one of two symptoms, basically, if they fucked up your order. It's
it is a good gamble.
It's playing with fire.
Yeah. You know, ironically, who didn't ever fuck it up was Japan, because they seemed very understanding about milk allergies. They were like, oh, we understand that. And they also seemed like they didn't understand caffeine thing. They were like, why would just have more caffeine, 2 times caffeine shot? And I was like, okay, look, I don't have your work ethic. We need to be awake.
I don't have your work ethic.
I was like, I don't need to be awake 24/7.
I think it has a lot to do with that, and more the fact that you ruined yourself and can't have caffeine.
Yeah, but
have you told that story yet? Do you want to?
I don't know. I might have. I wish I had the picture for proof. I do have a picture of myself holding two 1 liters of Mountain Dew.
So Andrew was the boy that Andrew was the boy your parents warned you about.
I was the one who was going to steal your girl and smoke all your cigarettes. But
Because there's always those dumb things your parents always say that are always like don't hold your face that way or stick that way, or like 500 things like that, and like all these little like wives' tales warnings about what you do. But you managed to prove something right by just going all in.
Yeah, so back in ye old days, I used to be a child that required more energy than what a child is given by default, which is a lot of energy, to play all the video games. So I would drink Mountain Dew, copious amounts of Mountain Dew, literally just buying 6-packs, 12-packs, 24-packs, and drinking those all as fast as I possibly could before sleeping, because I didn't want to sleep. And I learned the hard way that you can't sustain a human body with just Mountain Dew. You actually need food to compensate the caffeine intake. But I didn't care because food is a waste of time and money. I would just buy Mountain Dew.
It's like a really nerdy version of like hearing about like Christian Bale starving himself for The Machinist by having 1 cup of coffee and 1 apple every day.
Yeah.
But like just so you could play more EverQuest.
Pretty much, yeah.
The origin of Knackle, son of Knackle.
Yeah, I just wanted to play more EverQuest and more Halo.
Just to be clear about your name, Knackle, son of Knackle, like you made a character name.
How many backstories are we doing today?
All of them.
I thought we were doing the Mountain Dew story.
This podcast is born on backstories. So your Knackle, son of Knackle username, you made a character named Knackle. Then you made another character that was Knackle, son of Knackle.
No, I made another character named NAKKL.
Yeah.
So one character named NAKL, the next character NAKKL, because I ran out of creativity.
Yeah. And then you named your usernames on every social media platform based on a character being the son of another character in your fictional roster in a video game you don't play anymore.
They weren't even the same race, which was impressive too.
Yeah. Well, that is impressive. That raises questions. I mean, it's more like their son, like in heart.
I guess they're like family by blood bonds, but not.
Yeah,
by,
it's like Yakuza.
Yeah,
you should play Yakuza.
Yeah. Because I think Knackle was a wood elf, and then Knackle was a frog.
What? Wait, were there frogs in
they're
EverQuest?
frog people. You can be like a frog person.
I've never played EverQuest before.
It's any version of it. Very interesting game.
When you look at the first version now, it kind of looks like RuneScape.
It is awful to play. Don't ever play EverQuest. It is a terrible game.
Look forward to our upcoming Let's Play series of Andrew and Keith play EverQuest, and Andrew tears his hair out.
I hate EverQuest. Like if you think WoW's for babies, at least it doesn't make you ask the NPC what the fucking quest is. You have to ask them. They say like, here's a giant paragraph. Okay, what do I do now? Ask me what the quest is. What is the quest? Don't know. Ask me a specific question about the quest.
Were you typing the questions?
Yes.
Like it wasn't like Morrowind Wikipedia links?
No, you had to actually type out like, why are there goblins here? Oh, yes, there are goblins here because this thing is going on, blah, blah, blah. It's like, what the... Okay, what do I need to do? Ask me what you need to do. What do I need to... Specifically. What do I need to do?
Specifically.
Yeah, it's like, what do I need to do to end the goblin rush? Okay, so to end the goblin rush, you need to do this. I just want a quest, man.
Somehow I'm guessing that didn't make it into EverQuest 2.
No. Weirdly enough, they looked at WoW and went like, that's a pretty damn good idea. You just press a button and then accept. I like that. Let's do that.
That takes way less work to program.
Well, no, they still have the epic
get one
stories.
guy to write some shit.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, ironically, EverQuest 2 didn't do very well. I wonder why. Maybe because
it was the first of many, many games that'd be like, what if we did WoW? Shit, WoW exists.
A lot of people were just upset because it wasn't EverQuest 1, but with better graphics.
I mean, it did better than EverQuest Next. Which is just never going to happen. Yeah, after hearing about it for like 5 years, it's just like, everyone lost their jobs.
It's
I guess
not worth it
or something.
But yeah, that's where Knackle, son of Knackle came from.
Some Mountain Dew.
I've had that for like 10 years now. No, more than 10 years. I've had it for almost 20 years. That username.
Whereas for me, might as well explain it here because might as well get this explanation out every time I play do any series. When I was in high school, I took German. And we all had German names that we addressed each other by during that class. It's just, it's like a way to get used to pronunciation and just a list of names, I guess. And maybe just to put, just an excuse to put you in like the mode for speaking the language that you're supposed to speak in that class and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember Kel's name. I'm trying to remember Kel's name because he was there. And he had his own name too because everyone did. Shit.
Probably fewer.
Bothers me weirdly. No. But mine was Sebastian. Or Sebastian. And
I think, didn't his start with like a H or something?
I don't know. He might have been like Friedrich or something.
Was it what?
I don't know.
I could have sworn I remember hearing because I think him and another of my friends, Sydney, I think they both took German, and I want to say like during.
You should just text him right now.
No, well, he's in Japan, so it's a different time zone.
What was your Kel name? I mean,
what was your Kel name? What was your blood name?
How far off is Japan right now?
Japan.
Is it like midnight?
I don't know. My phone's over there, but because Japan's on a 12-hour time difference, so I think it's 12-hour time.
And they're
difference.
ahead of us.
Yeah, they're ahead of us
like
by a day.
2 or 3 a.m. or something, I think.
No, they're not 12 hours. They're 16 hours. 16 hours ahead. Because they're a day and some change.
Making me do math.
Yeah, it's a lot.
He's fine. It's like 8 a.m.
Is it 8? Well, yeah, it is 3 p. It's like, yeah,
it's
about
like
3.
8 a.m. Also, presumably you wouldn't wake him up unless he really does have like a wake me up whenever stuff happens phone setting.
I don't know his life.
I know people that do that. They'll be like, I'm asleep next to my phone and it's going to make noise. I'm like, why would you do this to yourself?
Yeah,
It's like you woke me. Like I've texted someone before and they're like, you woke me up. And I'm like,
there's a thing called sleep mode.
Why do your phone makes noise when you get text message when you're sleeping? I'm like,
some people keep it on because they need important calls. Like if a family member, something happens that's important, some people leave it on, but they don't remember that like every phone since 2013 has a do not disturb feature where you can tell it if there's an emergency between these contacts, let the sound go through. Yeah. Otherwise, mute everything else during these times, the times when I'm asleep. And so people don't use it because they're like, that's too complicated. I would rather just get woken up in the middle of the night by someone texting me something when they're completely drunk, or someone texting me at 9 a.m. because they wanted to let me know something about the day ahead, but I was still sleeping.
Yeah.
I would rather just get upset at them than set a setting on my phone that every phone comes with that you don't have to pay for.
The first name I ever had to make pretty much the first time I had to make a username, I think. Well, my first one ever was Age of Empires, which is E5G3, because I mixed up password and username because I was also like 8. And I was making my first account, and I played one match and got crushed instantly. I'm like, this is not fun. And went back to playing RTSs offline for the next 20 years. But I played Diablo 2, Lord of Destruction, and played that with my friends, and had to get like back when we were like sharing a dial-up connection with my brother on a single computer and crap like that.
Fun.
I had to make my first username, which was Shaman King, which is named after the shamans in that game. Then I encountered that there's an irritating anime with the same name, and so I'd be playing a Halo when I gave myself the same name on Xbox, and I would be playing Halo, and people like obnoxious 5-year-olds would be like screaming the theme song over the headphones, and I'm like, this needs to change. So when I was in high school,
so it changed.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, and the Xbox 360 came out, instead of transferring my account over, I just made a new one instead.
Why did you transfer over and then change the username? Yeah. That's weird.
Also, changing your username costs like $10 or something. They always charged for it on Xbox 360.
Had to pay to re-put gold on your new account.
Yeah, but on top of that, you have to pay for a name change.
Yeah, but you get all the... Oh, I guess there weren't achievements or anything.
There was no achievements. There was no purchases to remember.
That's not true.
There's no backwards compatibility.
You didn't buy anything on your Xbox, your original Xbox?
You could, but it wouldn't be remembered as being like a thing that would affect any part of you playing Xbox 360 ever.
I didn't know.
At most, it would remember your friends list, which I could just...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Get them
friends list was important to me.
But I could just get them again.
I had like 5 friends, and I needed to keep...
Like, hey, y'all, new account. Hey, new phone, who dis? But for Xbox.
My Xbox account is still my same one from Xbox One. Because it's been...
the original Xbox?
Yeah, it's been Knackle, Son, and Knackle. And I still have...
Long.
If you go on my Microsoft account and go all the way down to my oldest purchase, it'll be maps for Halo 2 that I purchased DLC for on the original Xbox.
We were both there, and we weren't friends.
No.
We could have been playing Halo 2 together all the time.
We probably did. I'm sure I played against...
Statistically, it's likely. I played it nonstop for like a year.
Yeah, I did too.
And then, like... Because you play Halo 2 so much, you hit the point where like you're not even playing Halo 2 to play matches anymore. You're like, I'm going to do the butterfly sword jump to go up this wall, and I'm going to get outside of every single map. oh, I got outside of containment. Everything's really bloomy up here. Like,
I remember
probably had all the same experiences of being outside of every map.
Yeah, I remember doing the containment thing specifically.
Yeah,
I remember it was like
because the area outside the map is bigger than the inside of the map. It's so much, but it's just a flat white area that's so bloomy you can't see the texture of the floor. So it's just you're just running around, you're just driving on clouds and shit. But you got there in the coolest way ever. Oh fuck, we should get a copy of Halo 2. You
don't think the original or the remake of Halo 2 still has it?
It might work in the Halo 2 remake. It might.
Why would they have patched it out?
I don't know. I'm wondering if we should do a video series where we just try to recreate these like map breaking glitches again.
Off the top of my head, oh my god.
We could do research too, but I just mean like we try to do them again and catch them on film. Like that'd just be a fun like nostalgia trip because that was like we both did that separately. But yeah, like in that one you had to get in a was it called Spectre?
Yeah,
was the warthog for the Covenant?
Yeah,
as a hover warthog. And you load people up on that. Then you on the top one of the containment bases, you'd kind of ramp against the stone wall in just the right angle where you'd kind of get stuck on it a little bit and kind of drive straight up it. And then you had to like finagle across the wall, zigzagging to get past the invisible wall that's over there. Then you could eventually drive up the wall and just leave the valley and just be outside the valley.
Yeah,
and it was the weirdest shit. And then you try to climb the giant. Because when you're in it, there's clearly giant spires that are outside of the playable area.
Yeah.
But once you're out there, you're like, I'm going to try to drive up that now. And you just go up shit. There was that one DLC map that looked like the Halo 2 campaign mission where you're like in a Covenant city. And it's like, it has that like, it's almost like the Senate building from the prequels from Star Wars, and that's just a bunch of like pod platforms in a huge open area in that direction.
I know what you're talking about.
They made a DLC multiplayer map that was like that. And what was amazing about that one is that you'd first break out of it vertically above the level, then you'd walk to the back and you'd fall past the level down onto instead of the sky box, you'd fall to the sky floor.
Yeah, and
you'd walk on the sky floor for a while because it's like there wasn't a kill box here. You're just on the bottom of the world.
And you could see, I think you could see up into the world.
It was cool shit.
Yeah.
That was
Halo was one of those weird games where people dedicated way too much time to not play Halo.
Yeah,
a lot of people dedicated so much time to weird glitches.
I'll never recreate my relationship with Halo 2 with any other game.
Oh yeah,
like it was so specific because you play the game for months to do like rank and shit, and you're like, oh yeah, look, my number's a different number, and
hey, I got Brigadier. That was a pretty good rank.
I don't remember anymore, but then you do like they start morphing into like Warcraft, where it's like I'm gonna do all these custom maps, and that's gonna be all I do now. Like let's play SWAT, let's play zombies, let's play other things I'm not immediately thinking of. Lots of zombies though.
Lots of zombie
variants.
They had
a real map.
I think they had races. There was like racetracks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was racetracks.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Pretty much everything
Halo 2 didn't even have custom maps yet. Was the crazy thing.
Everything that you saw in Halo 3 come out to existence, like the zombies, the racetracks, all the cool stuff that all existed on Halo 2 that we didn't have the technology to do anything with.
It'd be like if StarCraft 3 came out and then they finally and then on the drop down menu was like campaign, multiplayer, and then it was just like tower defense, MOBA, and like all the things that came from its genre. Basically, it was like that's what the Halo like kind of became, was just like a weird excuse to play custom games people made up.
Yeah.
And then if you get really bored, try to film some machinima. But just a lot of breaking out of maps.
I don't know. I think it made them a lot of money.
One of the weirdest ones functionally was the part where you could sit in the side of a warthog with the sword, and someone could walk up to you, and the sword had a lock-on lunge, and you could do the lock-on lunge on them from like a foot away. But because you're in the warthog passenger seat, you wouldn't leave the seat. So all it would do was initiate the lock-on, but you couldn't actually act on it.
Oh,
then the guy could walk across the entire map, and then you could get out of the warthog.
And he would just fly
across the map. And you'd fly across the whole map to get to him, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, as long as you didn't press a single other button. If you looked at someone, they were close enough, and you did the lunge, or you do like the attack to lunge at them, but you just let it go, the moment you get out of the vehicle, you're just like, you're just like a homing missile to that person. It's amazing.
It was weirdly like speed running for babies.
Yeah.
And that like speed running, like the any percent runs are always like, what's the weird way you break the game that lets stuff happen where you skip ahead in the campaign? But like this was like us doing weird speed runny type tricks of breaking the game, but just for the sake of it in multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like what people realized was that if you aimed at somebody, and the way that the lock on worked for the sword is that if the reticle turned red, you could lunge them. Period.
Yes, that was it.
And the only limitation on the sword wasn't how far the physical lunge could go. The limitation was how far the reticle could turn red.
Yeah.
And so the lunge actually had infinite range, but the reticle would only turn red when you were near an enemy. But the trick was that you could switch to different weapons that have longer range red reticles, and then you could rapidly switch between the weapons and the sword until eventually you got it to lunge via the reticle of the other weapon.
I remember that, yeah.
And specifically, the rocket launcher had infinite range.
Yes.
So it would be rocket launcher sword tricks where people would aim a rocket launcher at somebody from across the entire map, switch the sword, and go voom like Neo across the whole map, and sometimes kill them if you. God,
I remember that. I remember people used to get so fucking mad at Blood Gulch when you did that the first time.
Yeah.
Because you'd be like, oh, look, there's the guy in the base. Is he going to try sniping me? Foop, foop. And you just fly at him, and he's like, what the? Wait, hold on. And he's just...
Then there's the sword cancel butterfly tricks where, like, someone would stand on your head, and you'd have a sword, and they would jump, and you would sword lunge them, but press a button that cancels the actual attack from happening.
Yeah.
And then they would jump, then they would land on your head from you jumping at them, and they'd jump again, and you would sword cancel at them, and if you got really good at it, you could just infinitely elevator up.
You could go as far as you want to.
By this weird hybrid attack thing doing.
I've seen people do that, what was it? For Capture the Flag.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that for Capture the Flag, where they're just two people being assholes, and they're like, all right, well, we're not gonna... So they both took the flag, and they both just infinite jumped each other all the way up, and I was like, come on, guys, we can't even play the game now. You guys are in the sky. Like...
And then there was the, what was it? Shit. Oh, yeah, super jumps. Those were weird.
Super jumps, depending on what kind of super jump you're doing.
Super jumps were bizarre because you'd crouch in, like, a corner or a crevice. It would usually be some sort of triangular shape, like, misshapen thing. And you would, like, sort of crouch into it, and sometimes you'd even, like, jump a little bit. And then you would, like... Then they'd be like, okay, once you've, like, primed it, you need to land in a specific spot. And then you'll just shoot 50 feet in the air. Yeah. And so, like, one of the really weird ones is... the one I always remember is in Zanzibar. You had to go inside, like, the enemy... the only base, really, in Zanzibar, besides the coast. Okay. Inside... And there's all those... the breakable glass everywhere. There's a specific window where when you break the glass, it makes a specific shard where there's like a triangle shard, roughly like where it would be right above your head. Oh, yeah. It'd be like right above your head if you're crouching. So you crouch under the triangle shard and you kind of jump a little bit, and you fall down. You have to land in a specific spot on the next floor down, and then you just go like 50 feet in the air, and you can land on top of the base. And it's like, what is this? Yeah. I don't understand. I never understood, like, were half the shit that you could do in Halo 2 on purpose, or were they like just utter amazing weird stuff.
Yeah, just like
that either never got caught or they didn't fix it because they're like, well, who's gonna do this?
Yeah, that's like what I'm curious about. I wish there was like a book just for Halo 2 of like the glitches of Halo 2, and I want to hear Bungie employees like, we knew that existed, but like, who was gonna do that? You know, like that.
And it was just such a fun thing because when you were there live, it's almost like being part of an ARG. Like, yeah, where like people keep discovering new secrets as it's going forward, and you're there while it's happening. So it's like, oh, this is what happened this week and stuff like that. 'Cause like,
it is like discovering. It's like almost being an archaeologist where you're discovering new things about the code of this game. You're like, you can just leave this level. It's like, oh, well, I'm the first to know. Tell the internet. Like go to GameFAQs. The most innocent beginning thing was that in my favorite map, Headlong, you could get in a Banshee and fly towards like the offense base, because there's a lot of asymmetrical maps where instead of being Blood Gulch where it's just two bases that are symmetrical, there would be like one good base and one like open area the attackers spawn in, basically. Like in Zanzibar, there's a big assaultable base and then a beach, which is where they spawn on, which Zanzibar was a great level too. In Headlong, you just spawned in a street, but right above you was this building that has slanted roof. And so if you got in a Banshee and flew at that slanted roof at just the right angle, you could just land on the building. You could just land on the building. Yeah. And no one could do anything to you.
And it was hard to do because if you went slightly high, the invisible ceiling would hit you. And Halo 2 specifically didn't have physical invisible ceilings that would like you'd slam into. They'd be like a repulsor field.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, doesn't it like push you?
Yeah,
it like
pushes you down.
Yeah.
Which made it harder to do this trick because if it was a physical ceiling, then you just scrape along it. But because it pushes you down, you have to perfectly thread the needle at this like under angle to just barely hinge onto the top of the building where they just didn't quite line up with the invisible ceiling. Yeah. And you could just be outside the level without even doing a glitch. That's what opened the door for a lot of people. Who were like, what kind of weird shit can you do in this game? Because I just flew out of the level and I didn't even have to do anything. Yeah. It was just normal.
I think that was such a cool thing. I appreciate the fact that Halo unless it affected the ability to do competitive stuff, like they would fix it. I remember they did like
it was so hard to patch games back then.
Yeah.
So like even if they wanted to, it would have been hard to do. So that might have been part of the incentive.
I remember they did fix some of them. Like I remember there were some fixes, like stuff that would actually break the game, as in like the game would just crash from it. I remember they did do some minor fixes on that, but they pretty much were open about
remember the big thing they had to fix?
Which one?
So I think they were the first console game to ever do DLC.
Yes, they were.
Period.
Yeah, they had
to the point where they were trying to introduce the concept of DLC in the form of like, here's a DLC like disc. Here's discs you can download the maps off of, which you can get at GameStop. Which I never did that version, but that was an available option because they were like, we don't know how to sell DLC to people. We want to add maps to our game.
I did mine online, my original Xbox right down there that I've had since childhood. You can go on there, go to the files, and it has the Halo 2 maps that I downloaded from Xbox Live.
Which they had a cool system for that, by the way. Because what they would do, and I've never seen this happen since.
I've never seen it since. It's so good.
You're talking about the pricing structure, right? Yeah, they would. What they would do is they'd add the new maps, and the new maps would have their own separate playlist. So you'd play all the different playlists of like Capture the Flag and Slayer and all this other shit, which that guy's voice is in your head, right?
Yeah.
And then it'd be like DLC it'd be like DLC levels. There'd be like one of them. It'd be DLC Slayer and DLC Objective. It probably wasn't called DLC, but something that meant expansion or something. And instead of having like 8 modes, you would just had 2 playlists, one for just shooting people and one for playing objective matches. And so that would be a dedicated playlist for just the new maps. And then a couple months later, when the next new maps were coming out, the old new maps would become free and get integrated into all the other playlists.
Yes.
And then, so at any given time, there was one downloadable series of maps, which are the new ones. But the moment they weren't the new ones anymore, they were free for everyone.
Yeah.
And that was the coolest system.
It was such a good system. I think Call of Duty did it for...
Because it solves the splitting your audience problem.
Yeah, I think the first Call of Duty, I think Modern Warfare did it. I want to say they did the same concept.
That's not the first Call of Duty.
Well, I'm saying the first one that was doing DLC, like DLC maps for online play. Because I don't remember when that series started with it. But I think because I remember there was a problem with that where there's so many people are playing and they're like, oh my goodness, we make the Mun-Muns.
Yeah.
But then they were like, all right, we want to make DLC because money. And they did it, and it was like, well, no one's buying the DLC. Why is no one buying it? It's like, well, I don't want to not be able to play with my friends. It's like, well,
whoops.
If we make another one, it's free for everyone. It'll be okay. And everybody's like, yeah, I'll do that. And then no one really bought DLC.
And now Call of Duty is like, you want to pre-order the game for a price that's twice the price of the game so you can get the season pass, but only the special season pass. That also comes with the special DLC where your guns are beige. And it's like, great,
look,
thanks.
In the beginning, war used to be very simple. We killed the person, the end. Now
the most infuriating thing they ever did was make HD versions of their old games pre-order bonuses and stuff like that. Like, you fuck! I just want the thing. I want the remake of the good game and not the new bad game. You fucks! Don't you get this?
I don't want your old one. I don't want.
That's why they did it.
I don't want your new trash. I want your old.
To get back to it, the problem they had to fix was that they introduced hacking to console games. Yeah, that wasn't a thing yet. See, all the tricks we were doing up until then were innocent inside of the game's rules, weird glitch shit. That was just like, whoa, look at this weird shit I could do. And I never did it for cheating purposes. I only did it in dedicated lobbies where we're just gonna fuck with the game for a while.
Nope, I did it to get my rank higher, and it worked.
Because I always had like a friends list of people that like was often just dedicated to just screwing around, as opposed to even having fun with it, and as opposed to actually trying to.
Your friends were on like the other moral compass. My friends were all on the other side. My friends are like, let's ruin this game meta.
We were all playing custom matches and glitch matches and stuff. But no, what the problem is that they did this DLC for the first time, and the problem that this introduced is that there was content being added to the game from outside, and people were finding out how to modify that data.
Yeah,
and it led to a lot of problems. One problem is that you started seeing aimbotters, and you also sometimes even people that would fly.
Yeah,
and so you'd go into
flying. I remember was a big problem.
Yeah, you'd go into a map like that one wizard or warlock was like the hexagonal tiny level.
Yeah,
and like. A guy would just be flying in the middle of the sky and just aimbotting and just like constantly getting kills anytime anyone walks out of their spawn point, basically. And it's like, oh boy. And I remember in Containment, when I started playing Containment, people would get in the rocket warthog, the one that fires the explosive rounds, and then just fly across the map like a banshee. And I'm like, that's not supposed to happen. It's like that got fixed at some point because I stopped seeing it anymore. But that was a thing for a while.
I remember they
introduced hacks.
That was like, I think that was also technically the first time Microsoft had to come to terms with the idea of banning people from Xbox Live.
Yeah,
because it was the first time where they had to be like, you breached the code of conduct, which is like you altered a game, and I guess you altered a game that doesn't allow you to do that.
It was a weird, exciting time where so much stuff was happening for the first time.
Yeah, now everything's cold and bitter.
Yeah,
now everything's like, we already have
been playing multiplayer games anymore.
Yeah, like
that's what you had to do. You had to do a standby back then. Because in Halo 2, somebody was the host.
Yeah.
And people would just press the standby button on like their router, and then everyone would freeze. And then he'd just run around and shoot everybody while they're like running into walls over and over again. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I bet you did that. You're totally the person that does that shit.
God. I used to have
that ruins multiplayer games.
I used to have like a button. I used to have a button by my TV, and if I was in a match that I was losing and the person was way better than me, I would just go like, and flip, and then I could just run through, and because I would always host because I always had the best internet usually in the town. I would pay for the best internet.
Son of a bitch.
So I'd always be the host, and I had the lowest ping, lowest latency, highest speed. Yeah, standby. You're all screwed. Oh god, man, I think I got
not even a video game at that point.
No, I got to the highest rank in Halo 2, and I felt no remorse about cheating my way through, and it was worth it.
Have you ever felt remorse?
Yeah, but not about cheating in video games. If you're gonna make
you forget to feed Shadow one day, is that the one thing that ever made you feel bad?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, my thing with video games is like I feel no sympathy for breaking the game to my advantage because it's just a game, and if someone's gonna be upset about it, then go.
It's just a game.
It's
not valid.
It is a game. It's like you can't be upset in football if I just take the football and just use a helicopter and fly to the goal. It's like, that's your fault. You didn't buy a helicopter. You suck.
You're doing that thing where you do like an analogy and the analogy's wrong too.
Yeah. But I just personally,
just to display how far gone you are.
Yeah, it just all doesn't matter to me. But it was great being the highest rank because people would, that's the way people used to talk shit to you. Was like, oh, what's your rank on Halo? Or like trying to, it's like, I got top rank. What do you want? It's like, whoa.
I think I remember hovering around 30 or something.
Hovering at 30?
I think 30 was like the mile. I would always wobble around it, and I feel like I would just barely get to it and then drop down again on a regular basis or something.
Yeah,
like I have early multiplayer like things where like a number is in sort of burned into my brain as being the number I'd kind of get sometimes, but I'd fall under on a regular basis. I think it was level 30 in Halo, and I think in Dead or Alive it was an A. I was trying to get an A, and I'd always be a B plus, and I'd just barely get to A, like an A minus every now and then fall back to B plus again because I was just a B plus Dead or Alive player, and I played that game for a long ass time too.
Yeah,
because that was my new Halo when Xbox 360 came out. I was just having so much fun with that game.
I don't think I've ever put that much commitment into another online multiplayer game besides
than Halo 2.
Yeah, then Halo 2. I've never. Well, I guess I technically did put a lot of commitment into Modern Warfare 2, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I did with Halo 2.
I'm just thinking of when Halo 2 came out. I'm like, think about this alternate history timeline where we know each other since 2004.
Yeah?
That's 7 more years. Jesus, that's double.
I didn't even...
That's weird to think about.
I don't think I went to school.
You're just like, hey, Halo's here. I'm just skipping this year.
I don't think I went to school the day it came out. I think I just went to GameStop. I was like, I'm not gonna go. Why would I go to school? School's not Halo.
Did you get it at midnight release?
Yeah, I got the midnight release, and then
it was probably at this GameStop.
And I just went home.
We were both at the same midnight release for that game.
Yeah, probably.
Our midnight release history traces back to Halo 2's launch.
It's
weird to think about.
I was also there for Dead Space 2.
There's this whole...
I was also there for...
oh my god.
For a lot of others.
This is like Better Call Saul, where it's like prequels to Breaking Bad, and like you'll see characters that don't know each other yet, but that are important for each other's futures in Breaking Bad, and the camera will just be like, here he is, camera pan, there's that other character, and they haven't met each other, but that's like us at like GameStop for the midnight release of Halo 2, like 7 years before we start our first YouTube channel.
We could start a YouTube channel back then.
No, we couldn't. It didn't exist. isn't that weird to think about?
Yeah.
YouTube just didn't exist in like 2004.
Yes, children, we were born in a time with no YouTube. It was a dark day. We had to watch videos on the internet without typing in youtube.com.
It just went from not existing to existing, and then it just immediately got really used to it within like a year of it just being around.
Is that not a weird thing to think about? The fact that people are born today and have been born for the past, just be generous, say 10 years.
Yeah.
Twitter, Facebook,
YouTube,
Google.
Yeah, none of them are new.
They've just been there forever.
Yeah.
Like, in their lives, they woke up one day and were like, I guess Twitter just exists. And it's always existed. And there's always been a Twitter. And it's like, no, there hasn't. It hasn't been. It used to be dark days. Like, it's like, like when you think about, what did you do back in middle school?
I get the kind of feeling just with like presidents where it's like, I'll get like to voting age and then vote like once. And then like a decade will pass almost.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, it's always been this president. We changed them. Like like some of these things stick around for so long that it feels weird to realize like, oh shit, yeah,
those are your congressmen we don't change, Keith. Your presidents do change on the daily.
and they're secretly more powerful.
They're not secretly more powerful, they're just obnoxiously more powerful.
So anyway, about your Mountain Dew story.
So yeah, for the Mountain Dew story,
I think that was a worthwhile aside.
Yeah, so for the Mountain Dew story, basically what happened was that back in the day I liked to play EverQuest. That's where Knuckle came from. And so in order to sustain that, I would drink nothing but Mountain Dew, not eat food. I kept that repetition up for probably like a good 2 years. And then my body was finally like, hey, you know what's real cool? Is not having stomachs anymore. And so my stomach lining started being deteriorated by the caffeine. And my doctor gave me the choice of saying you could either stop drinking Mountain Dew for pretty much the rest of your life was his recommendation, but that's not real. You can't not drink caffeine for the rest of your life.
You can.
Well, you can, but that's inhumane to say.
You can, though.
He said...
It's like having a peanut allergy. Like, people do, just don't.
And, it's better to die. So he told me I could either not drink Mountain Dew or not drink caffeine ever again, or I can eat food, a lot of food before I drink caffeine.
A lot of food. Do you do that gamble? Does it happen every now and then?
I've tried that. There's sometimes
does it work?
It does work. I still like, the problem though is I don't really understand the measurement requirements for that. Like when you drink a certain amount of coffee, how much of that is being just destroyed by food before? I don't know either, because sometimes I'll drink half a cup of coffee and I've eaten a big meal and I'm doing okay. And then I try to drink the other half and I feel like I'm going to die. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess the food's gone now. My bad. I didn't know how to gauge this. What is this gamble? It sucks. It's like you're putting, the best analogy I can think of is if you're trying to, you're betting money on if you can get a scale to be perfectly even, but your eyes are blindfolded. And you're like, I think that's even, and then you just did like one.
It's almost like, how many marbles are in this jar?
Yeah.
And then you bet, you're like, we meant that jar.
And you're like, oh no,
there was another jar. Oh no.
But yeah, so I have a picture of myself when I went to learn how to drive at driving school, and I am sitting, because they do like the group photos. In the group photo, I have 1 liters of Mountain Dew with me, just in each arm. And
it feels like anyone could have looked at you and be like, this person has a problem, and just no one stopped you.
Oh yeah, I think my parents used to think that a lot, but they were like, well, at least he's happy.
No, make him stop killing himself.
I mean, it was either that or actually killing myself.
Like, what if your child was like 400 pounds overweight, and you're like, maybe this is a bit much for a 14-year-old.
I think it was the opposite end, where it was like I wouldn't eat anything except, like, I wouldn't ingest anything but Mountain Dew. So the problem was that, like, because my parents just latched onto one thing that I would ingest, they were just like, well, he'll drink Mountain Dew, let's just give him a lot of that, and then maybe it will progress into food, and he'll actually become a person again. And it didn't. It just made it worse. And then the doctor's like, you fucked him up somehow. He was already fucked up, and now he's fucked up more. And he was like, oh, God, all right. Which was not, God, that was the worst.
God, what was that one? It's like some sort of deity joke where they were like, look what you did to him. You gave him anxiety. I just think back to being in like middle school and stuff, and like how your body just wants stupid shit.
Your body just
like you
doesn't. Your body doesn't act like it wants to be alive half the time.
You demand stupid things. Like
I think that's pre-puberty, though, isn't it?
I would wake up in the morning. I'd get 4 frozen waffles, and I'd put them all over a plate. I'd find like the stash of like, well, first I'd spread butter over them. Then I would find the stash of like chocolate chips in the house and put those over the.
I like how they're a stash and not just a cookie.
Yeah, because I was straight up just stealing them from like the this is for like making cookies or something area. Like, and then no one knew.
Like, there's just a baking ingredient.
Yeah, I was just putting those on the butter waffles. Then I was microwaving them. And then I would just then I'd cover that in syrup and just start chowing down on this weird mash of calories. And like I'd get home from school and I would take a tortilla and I would spread peanut butter on it. And then I would like sprinkle like powdered sugar over on it, and then I just roll that up, and I would just eat this peanut butter sugar tortilla, and like that would be what I got home from school food, and I'm like I don't know.
I am so sorry for your body. Your poor body went through so much of abuse.
And I was like, and I did that for years, and the entire time I was like 150 pounds.
Oh yeah,
like I was
because your metabolism just
I was
ridiculous.
Just like the skeleton man.
Well,
the
because
entire time.
Your body does that weird thing,
care.
Especially pre-puberty. Your body does that weird thing where it says, "Oh, good job."
That didn't happen. Shush. I tried to slightly jostle the dog because they were snoring near the camera. I'm like, maybe stop that. But then the incredibly contrived light setup started falling over and drooping. Is the camera even working that this is all for?
That's what I want to make sure.
It's funny because we got this light set up that makes the webcam look disastrous. Why are you clapping?
Just to make sure.
What?
Just to make sure.
What does just to make sure mean? Did you just stop it and restart it or something?
No, I just want to make sure that like everything's in sync.
You're scaring me now. Well, stop it.
I'm just scared because it's like I just want to make sure everything's in sync.
It's staggering how much better everything looks from the camera that we have set up than the webcam behind us. Yeah. Not even just like the fact that we're not looking at the webcam, but also like it's washed. It's just completely like all the colors are wrong and it's terrible and I don't know what's going on.
This looks like it's somehow professional. This looks like you just open up a MacBook from 1995.
It's one of those things where it's like we need a camcorder, but also like I need a VR set and I need like a 3DS. I need a 3DS capture card and a better house and a better house. Like there's so many fixes that are obvious. Yeah, but society.
A camera's like the least important on that list,
probably. Yeah. It's ranking just above Vita capture card. For all those Vita games like Soul Sacrifice and Soul Sacrifice.
Well, you could always use an emulator.
Is there a Vita emulator already?
Yeah. There's an emulator for literally everything except
sounds so annoying to try to play an emulator of a game that has like bullshit touchscreen controls or even multiple screens of touchscreens.
Oh, does it have touchscreen stuff?
The Vita has touchscreen and rear touchscreen.
Well, yeah, but does that game in particular use touchscreen features? That is unfortunate. I don't know how you would simulate that.
I lost track of what we were talking about.
We were talking about bodies and how weird they are because they would just consume really dumb food.
Because they're suicidal.
Yeah.
Until they're not.
It's weird because I took the opposite approach and I was okay as well. So, like, you would eat ridiculous pancakes and like all that crap and you were 150. I used to eat literally nothing and drink Mountain Dew when I was 150.
And it was mostly the literal nothing part that fucked you as opposed to the Mountain Dew.
Yes.
Because around the same age, Max would just... He was like a proto-drug dealer, but for like monsters and rock stars. I'm not even really exaggerating that much. Like,
no, he would sell. I know, because he would sell.
You saw him there. He would buy entire cases on a daily basis and sell them for a profit on campus to people. Which I'm not sure if it was probably not allowed by the school rules to begin with, but also is like worrying behavior for your son to be doing already in school. Like learning that already is like, oh, if I can be the distributor.
No, CeeLo did that when he was in middle school as well. They used to call him the Candy Man. Because he would go on because his parents lived on base in the Air Force.
Man.
Yeah, his parents lived on base,
so they had cheaper candy.
So he would go and buy huge amounts of candy on base for super cheap, and then come back and sell them at on the school ground. So people would call him out. I would be walking with him. People would call it, "Candy Man, you got Kit Kat," and he would just be like, "Yep, $2." And it's like, what is happening right now? Am I part of a thing? Is this a gang? Is that how gangs work?
Is this gangs?
Is this gangs?
The chair.
Hello, new gangs. Who's this? Like, But
like the point being that Max also partook significantly in said product.
Oh,
He would just be draining them, and like we would always get together at our place because he didn't like going home, so we'd always go to our place and hang out with me and Eric, and we'd be playing like WoW or whatever.
I feel like he just didn't want to go home because he had too many cans of soda and he couldn't actually do anything at home. His whole room was just filled with soda.
We just like basically land all day, every day, just all the time.
Yeah.
And like he would just have stacks of energy drinks he was just burning through, and it's like I don't think anything happened to him. Or he's just never mentioned
I mean,
it.
he's about as thin as I am.
You are both skeleton people.
Yeah, except
You
he's taller than me,
and then you learned the word for that from Plague of Gripes. Because literally the Plague of Gripes video came out and said like ectomorph or something, and then you said it the next day. I'm like, oh, somebody learned a word today.
I did learn it, and I've never used it since.
So because apparently Plague of Gripes is right there with you in that body shape.
Yeah, it's the... Except I don't think over time I've learned that I'm definitely not that body shape. I'm just malnourished.
Yay!
It's definitely not like my body chose a weird shape. My body's like, you just don't eat and you won't have a form.
You're supposed to eat food.
It's like I'm like the first...
food is what your body's made of. Yeah, so you eat more food and then and then you get more body.
But see, here's the problem. Here's the thing that sucks about bodies is your body puberty is the most important time of your entire life, and not because you learn how boners work. It's because your body decides how it's going to be a body from then on. So your body learns all the important functions, like, this is what's, this is how I'm going to do this. This is what I need to do. And this is my, like it learns all the things. It figures out, okay, how to body. Okay, these are things we can do. That's when you learn most of your allergies. Like a lot of people...
I'm just aware of the fact that if on the webcam perspective, my camera, my microphone perfectly blocks your dog licking his own asshole while you're talking about puberty.
Yeah. But your body learns like your limitations on stuff, your allergies, like things you can or can't eat. All that kind of stuff happens during puberty. My body learned starvation is how I survive.
Oh, goody.
And so my body's like, you can't have weight. You're not allowed because this is not how the body was built. So I can consume pizzas or cakes by myself, and it's gone. It's just all gone. And it's like, well, how much do I weigh after a gorge of a feast? Not what you
My
think.
brother's the same way, where he just, like, he'll never gain weight ever, and he never stops eating. And it's weird, because now he's, like, getting closer to 30, so it's like he's not in the age where that's normally still happening.
Yeah.
But, like, he will just be, like, ordering, like he's an expensive ass fucking person to have on a sushi dinner, that's for sure. He'll just keep going, and I'm like, he'll have like a stack, like there's like a stack that people have, like it's like, oh, look at the stack we made between all of us. Like Cal would always make those photos of like his friends going to sushi, and there'd be like 8 of them, and they made a stack of plates. He'll just make his own stack, and I'm like, fuck.
Well, I mean,
how are you eating so much food? But like he seems to eat like 5 times a day. And it's always like more than normal, and I'm like, how though? But he has like 6'5".
Yeah, I mean, his body requires more. It's weird.
It's the Goku effect.
Yeah, I mean, it truly is. That is kind of like the idea. The more active you are, the more your body needs something because that's what it's been built to need. Then you are someone who eats more. I mean,
that's always one of the fun background details in Death Note. Is that supposedly the antagonist character is burning so much brain power trying to track down the main character that like that's the actual reason he's like obsessively eating sweets all the time is because he's just burning crazy calories with his mega brain is like an actual plot point, but they only say it like once and don't really expand on it too much, which is why the movie totally misses the point.
It's an offhanded remark.
Yeah. The movie failed so hard at understanding even why he eats candy. There's like, fuck it, there's just candy in all of his scenes. Whoa!
Because I remember the scene, I think, is like, what's her face asks him about it. Misaka, I think she's like, oh, do you like cakes? He's like, I don't like cakes. It's just the most efficient way to get sugar into my bloodstream, and the sugar replenishes me. And he was just like, and sweets do that. And he was like, that's why
sugar replenishes me.
Yeah, but you burn a lot of calories sitting down, by the way. Sitting on your ass, you burn calories at a fair amount.
Well, you burn calories existing.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying you can burn a good amount of calories just sitting, which is impressive, given that I sit in a chair and I literally do nothing, and I'm still burning more calories than I consume a day, and it's frustrating. It's like I'm always in the negative, and I can't get into the positive at all, because like, Andrew, just eat more. I don't have your whatever that thing your humans have in your belly that consumes food. I don't have that. and
appetite,
like a stomach.
yeah.
It doesn't work. My stomach does not exist. Like I can eat. I can go. I don't even have. Look, I don't even have food to compare around here.
I never want to have kids.
I can eat like a Kit Kat.
I don't want to deal with the stress of like the number of ways that your kid can like kill themselves or fuck up in so many different ways. It's like the idea, like, yeah, by the way, they can permanently damage themselves with their eating habits. I'm like, add that to the list of things to think that can happen. Great. Thanks for that.
If it makes you feel better.
I'm just trying to I'm just worried they'll stick like metal into a light socket or something. They're like, no, I'm just going to eat the wrong food and then be ruined.
I mean, I think it's given my entire family history, I'm the only idiot that did it. So, like, I think the risk of having it happen is so low that it's worth taking it. I mean,
oddly inspirational messages from Andrew about having kids.
I'm saying that if you're worried about not having kids because you're afraid their eating habits will fuck them up permanently, it's the least likely problem. Like, that's the least likely thing that will happen, because most people, I don't know if you know this, Keith, but most people like eating. They enjoy living, and living is on the.
I even did an eating today.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna do one later.
I did
so much the eating.
I did an eating.
They added new breakfast sandwiches at Jamba Juice.
What are they? Juice sandwiches?
No, they've always had food at Jamba Juice.
Do they?
You never go there?
I went in there once to order like Jamba Juice, but I never actually looked at their menu.
They don't put milk in most of their stuff, do they? So it's probably like one of those places that's actually safe for you.
Yeah, they don't usually put milk on their stuff.
Unless you order like the chocolate one, which probably has milk in it.
No, it's the thing I have to be careful about is vitamins.
Vitamins? You don't want to get too many vitamins?
No, they do that stupid shit where you're like, you want vitamin boost, or we're gonna put vitamin I want to like.
You
I
just say no.
Well, no, I told them one time I was like, I want an orange sherbet thing, and they're like, okay, and they gave it to me, and I drank it. I was like, oh god, I don't feel really well after a while. And
did they do a caffeine boost to it or something?
My sister was like, oh, did you get the one that has like all the add-ons attached? I was like, what does that mean? I just asked for an orange sherbet. She's like, oh no, you can get. There's two.
Well, a sherbet would have milk in it, wouldn't it?
Well, no, it's like that's the flavor.
Oh.
It's not actually orange sherbet. It's just like
it is.
Is it?
Yeah, that's where you fucked up. Yeah,
I hate this.
So if you look the menu, well, the good thing that what Jamba Juice is good at is that if you go at the menus, it actually lists the entire ingredient list of every one under each one.
Is that new?
No, that's been there since like I used to go to Jamba Juice all the time in college, and like it was just always there.
I guess I just don't care.
So like it shows the name in like red or whatever, and then under that it's literally every fruit that's in it.
Oh,
and the sherbet ones literally say like sherbet ice cream is in the blend. Like, that's one of the ingredients. I always get a strawberry surf rider.
I don't know what that means.
Strawberries and orange and, like, lime and stuff. It's like, it smells like, it tastes like citrus and strawberry, basically.
Huh.
And it's like, that's the whole shake. And it tastes great.
I don't know.
It was that food, though, and they usually have, like, cheesy bread type things, like a bunch of variations of those things.
Okay.
And they have, you can order flatbread pizzas, or you can order hot sandwiches, and then they start adding like these hot sandwich breakfast things. I'm like, this is convenient.
So they're just becoming like Starbucks, but not coffee,
but shakes.
Yeah, they're like a shake version.
So it's the one I'll go to. Because with Starbucks, I'm like, I have coffee. I don't want
coffee's not the hard part to get. It's the juice that's the hard part.
Whenever I order a special coffee, it's always like it's got 1 billion calories and it tastes like not coffee, but also somehow seems less effective than coffee. And I'm like, why did I bother then? That's all I wanted was the caffeine.
Probably because of all the other stuff waters it down.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, it's surprising that if you don't just put coffee in something.
But then if I'm just going to order black coffee, I'm just going to get mine.
Yeah, because there's no point paying $4 for a cup of black coffee.
I think it's like less than $2, but it is like, why am I going to a Starbucks for a black coffee?
Yeah.
So whenever I'm there, I'll order like a mocha or a latte or whatever weird gimmick thing they have right now. Like I tried a peppermint thing. It was like a candy cane flavored coffee.
Oh yeah,
because I was literally on my way to Christmas when I got
holiday.
That. And it's like, sure, why not? But I'm like, whenever I finish, I'm like, why did I? I don't feel any more awake.
I don't feel any. Yeah, normally you don't feel any better either.
I think you're a coffee shop, but it seems like you are just a Jamba Juice, but with shittier. Like I'm pretty sure that whatever you're getting in a sugary Starbucks is actually worse for you than the fruit blend you could just get at a Jamba Juice.
Probably.
Like the same price, which
Yeah.
and the fruit blend is like a meal because like those smoothies are basically just actually food in the form of a drink shaped thing because it's a blender thing.
I mean, I guess that's like the weird thing too, is I've never needed to juice or never needed to like, like I've never needed to have any supplements in my life.
I just like sweet stuff. So for me, like,
it's
good to go towards fruit.
Yeah.
Instead of like I haven't been drinking soda for a while.
I understand that.
So it's nice to be all like, oh, like fruit drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I today with me when I came here, I brought a black coffee cold black coffee can, and I brought a naked smoothie.
Okay.
And like that's what I got today because they're not sodas or something.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't justify it to myself. It's probably full of shit, but
yeah,
it tastes better actually.
They do. I drink a ton of water and maybe sometimes Gatorade, which does have sugar in it, but I usually use it as...
It's got electrolytes. It's what plants crave.
Yeah. What plants crave, because I'm a plant person.
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
It's the first thing I saw when I first went to Marty's house. It's the first thing I saw on his list of movies. It's just like Idiocracy staring at me. I'm like, huh.
It's a movie a lot of people don't remember.
No, except a lot of people really remember it.
Yeah.
Like latch onto it. Like that movie Evolution that has the smiley face with 3 eyes.
Oh yeah.
Like some people were like, I remember that movie. I'm gonna find up reasons to bring it up, like Keith with Dark Crystal. Let's do a question.
Okay.
It's been like a billion years.
It has.
How far in are we? That question lasted us an hour, didn't it?
No. Lasted about probably like 40 minutes.
Arguably, the question lasted about 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and we diverged. We got diverged by everything related to it. Blah, blah, blah.
What's the next question, Keith?
Patrick Reed asks about how we prevent RSI, like repeated stress injuries, like wrist problems from being on the computer all day.
Because I'm sitting here with my wrist in the worst position possible.
Yeah, and you're like hanging it onto it from your other hand.
Actually, I have
problems with my hands, wrists, arms, shoulders, and neck. It's a type of repetitive strain injury. Do you take precautions to preventing this from happening to yourselves? Do you have exercises?
I use this. It's a nice little pad. You can buy them for... Actually, I think it's for dishes. This thing's supposed to have dishes on it.
It looks like it's not meant for the computer.
No, it's not. I think it's supposed to be for putting like dishes on, but it's really comfy and it's actually really not tough, and it has the non-slip grip. But it's great because I put it right next to where my keyboard is, and I lay my whole arm on it, so my wrist gets on it, so it's on a soft surface, doesn't hit the desk actually. So when I'm using the computer, I'm like that instead of on the thing. So it's nice. It keeps my elbows from rubbing against here. It just helps. As for wrist exercises, I don't know, masturbating, does that count? I mean,
I don't really do anything at all.
You could do this, I guess.
Like I've never had any wrist strain or pain or anything ever.
Yeah, I'll get headaches every now and again from sitting for too long, and I'll just kind of get up and walk around and then get back down, and it's good.
The only hand pain I've ever really had is like I'd go on the ATVs.
Oh,
and you'd be holding the handles, and they're like,
but the vibration is caught. Yeah,
and then you have the thing where like you have the claw hand, where you're like, I can't release it.
Yeah,
like you're parked and you're stopped, and you're like, I can't. You have to like,
yeah,
to get your hand off of it because you can't move your hand anymore.
You have to do it like you have to not grip. You have to gently place your hand over, but you also have to like you have to rev it up.
It's weird, yeah.
It's dumb, yeah.
But from computer stuff and gaming stuff, like I've never felt anything. And maybe because I've been on computers and video games all my life anyway, so it's like maybe it was that teenage shit where you just program it or whatever the hell Andrew's made up science stuff.
It's not made up science.
But if you say it, I'm just gonna assume it is for a good time. Until that's my idea, and then I'll be like, I had this new idea.
In the comments,
it's like my brother with music. I'd show him Rise Against. It's like, you'd like this band? Like, yeah, get out of here. And then like 2 years later, he's like, can't stop listening to that album that he thinks he got himself, but I literally just left it in his room for 2 years, and he just suddenly gets really into Rise Against, and they're his favorite band, and it's like, it's because I gave you that. I gave you that. You don't remember? I have the receipt.
I mean,
but like I have an adjustable height desk, is actually from my old roommate, the one that would rub tree sap on his body in the shower. He had this really expensive standing desk that you can jam a crank into like it's a lug nut remover, and you can like crank the whole desk to change its height and then pop the crank back out and go store it somewhere. So the desk is whatever height you want it to be. So it's like the perfect height all the time, which is great. And I also switch back and forth between keyboard and mouse and controller all the time. And also like I'm not a streamer, so I don't force myself to sit there like Wanderbot and like record for like 8 hours straight like he does sometimes. Like I just do whatever. So I think there's a lot of like state changes with me where I'm like I put my hands down, or like I watch some YouTube videos, or I relax, or I play games. And like there's so many there's no marathon stuff in my life really. Like even when I was doing spreadsheets for 8 hours a day, I would like idle and do other things and like fidget and stuff.
I feel like that's kind of I mean, not having a cigarette, but like doing, like if you go out, like you just step away from your whatever you're doing for, you know, like 5-10 minutes, just do something else. Your body kind of like, it eases the stress a little bit.
Like I think of our marathon stream with the 12-hour Extra Life thing we did, which check that out on the YouTubes. It exists and stuff, I guess. We would like we'd trading off who's playing and doing commentary, and like other person would be like sitting on the couch with their hands behind their head half the time, or somebody go off for a smoke break or to go find food. And like I don't know, it's not I don't know. I haven't looked super heavy into how RSIs happen necessarily. So I don't know exactly what I'm doing that does or doesn't help. I just know that I've never had strain. Really,
I think it's
even though I do it all day. I
want to say it's something. Sometimes it happens. Like Joe, for instance, has carpal tunnel.
No,
he has carpal tunnel, but
I didn't know that.
He got it from using a laptop and using it like this, basically, like doing the like when you're using like that, like kind of
reaching
thing.
down at them.
Yeah,
that's another thing. Is like I specifically avoid all forms of video games that are uncomfortable.
Yes,
like people are like, why don't you like all these handheld franchises? I'm like, because they're not on video game consoles that like matter. They're only on this thing that's irritating to use.
Yeah, because like, it's like the kids have that weird. You know, like kids have that weird. They
have like a weird pinky from pressing shit. Weird.
Well, no,
holding their phone.
Yeah, they hold their phone on their pinky, and it like starts growing it weird because they're holding it at a young age, and their pinky's adapting to holding the phone because these.
Whenever people talk about this stuff, especially when they talk about tricks, so like if you double tap the bottom of the screen, it makes the screen slide down. Like all these tricks people have, it makes me realize that I don't use the phone the way anyone else does.
Yeah.
This is how I use my phone. Every single time.
Yeah.
It's always I hold it in my left hand and I touch it with the right hand. And it's perfectly comfortable, and I don't have like a deformed snaggle finger.
Yeah,
and everything's fine.
I mean, I just have like really long like tendrils, like basically, so I can just hold the phone and be like
the phone's got disastrously large at one point. Everyone's freaking out like, I can't reach the screen anymore. My thumb's not long enough. And I'm like, what? My only problem is that will fit in my pocket.
Yeah,
like
pocket's my
I don't
problem.
Have reach problems, and if anything, bigger screen's better because I'm like I can correctly hit the right things because there's always that frustration of like two menu options that are like right next to each other, and you can't. You try like 17 times to hit the correct one, and every single time it loads the other thing. You're like, stop it.
Yeah, I mean, I hold my phone. I do the same thing. I hold it like in a claw formation.
Yeah,
but I don't need to rest it because I'm not trying to do a balancing act. I just hold it with a claw, and I just do what I need to do.
Yeah, just holding it full hand.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's vertically...
It's perfect.
It's table orientation, so it's not like it's going to fall out.
That's another thing I do a lot.
No
I leave my phone on the table.
Yeah.
So I leave my phone on the table, and then I'll just do what I need to do real quick. And because that way I keep my hand completely straight, and I don't have to worry about curving it to do that. Mm-hmm. I just like keep it completely straight.
I don't know why people put the effort to try to do like a weird... I'm gonna try to reach around the whole phone. I don't know. Like it just takes me back to like when I liked Kingdom Hearts 1 when I was a kid.
Yeah,
it's like this is an alright game. Years later, I'm like, oh, let's try out one of these 3DS Kingdom Hearts. I'm like, this is pain. The 3DS is like 20 pixels tall, the entire screen. Like everything's made of squares. It looks like Minecraft, and you're playing a third-person RPG where you can't control the camera because there's no right stick or anything like that, really. So it's just looking wherever it feels like. But it's also a tiny camera where your character's massive on it, so it's like way zoomed in compared to the other Kingdom Hearts. And also you're like holding a rectangle with razor sharp edges on every direction, trying to and they're pressing these tiny fucking nub triggers that are like I think they land somewhere around the first part of my finger.
Yeah.
The least pressable part is like where they land in my adult hands.
You have to do like a claw like this to get them.
Which sounds like pain too.
Yeah.
And the whole time, like, your options are to lay down and hold it up with your arms, or to sit up and look down, craning your neck. Like,
yeah.
There's no relaxed position for playing a handheld console or a phone game.
Even a DS.
Like, I hate them.
Like,
I hate it. I just want all of those games to be on video game consoles, which they have no excuse not to be.
Like, if you
besides
look,
the fact they just don't put them on it.
Yeah, like look at that. That doesn't look. Looks like shit, like comparatively to an Xbox controller.
Like, I didn't play,
when you have
like,
your hands over the triggers.
I never played Zero Escape all these years because they weren't putting them on PC.
Yeah,
and I'm like, why would I don't want to play a 3DS game for like 40 hours of visual novel or whatever the fuck. Like,
by the way, this is such a good comparison of why like the Xbox One controller is so nice. I think
those consoles all contribute to RSIs.
They do, but I mean, you have to remember that like it's just the little things too, like having your fingers like this where they're stationed.
Yeah.
Where, like, as you can see, versus a DS where they're not stationed. They're
ergonomic.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Same with the 360 is the same way, though. Look at that. Like, it's ergonomic.
Comfortable hand-shaped controllers versus a rectangle.
And the problem is that every fucking handheld is a rectangle.
Yeah.
The Vita's also like that. Well, a Vita's like an oblong, which doesn't feel as good either because it's not contorted to your hand. It's still the awkward...
And you'll always hear me complain about like anytime I have to interact with a laptop, and I'll always complain whenever I interact with any laptop. Really, I'm like, because it's always worse in every way, basically. Yeah. But people are like, I usually get responses like people being like baffled by my reactions, and it's like, oh, you're all just resigned to this, aren't you?
A lot of people don't
have just resigned themselves to discomfort and they don't even think about it anymore. And that's probably how you get like actual like physical damage. When you just accept the discomfort and stick with it.
That's usually probably how it works. Like I think I spent like 2 months without this pad, and my every time I'd be done doing a Let's Play, my arm would just be numb. It would be like in really bad pain, and I couldn't do it. And I finally just got to a point where I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I just don't want to be in that, so I just found a way to do it, and I found it in whatever method possible, and started out with just a pillow. It's like, I'm not gonna pay
my brother
for
used to show off like the weird nightmare dark lines across his wrists that he'd have after a LAN, and I'm like, why didn't you not do that?
Yeah.
Why didn't you avoid that? Because he'd be like hanging his hands down off like the table.
Yep.
Which my table's straight ahead from me. It's my chair's adjustable, my desk is adjustable, which is like a cool, elegant design. Like once you make a desk that simple, it's really good for adjustability. Like I used to have a really shitty like homework desk that had like a bunch of drawers and shelves and layers and shit, and it would like when we tried moving it from house to house, it like started falling apart. And then once I moved it again, it basically just gave up. Like all the particle board and all the connections, there were like all the screws were stripped,
and
like,
then it died.
Was like it was being held together by hopes.
Yeah, by hopes.
But the new desk I have
hopes and frugality.
It's just a flat slab.
Yep.
On 2 legs. And that's
on
all
2
it
legs?
Is. It has, on the left and right, it has centered legs, and on the bottom of those legs, it has like a long flat thing.
Oh, okay.
Like a restaurant table.
Yeah.
Where they're just the ones that care about whether or not you're constantly hitting your legs on them. So basically all the chains. So it's like that, where it's just 2 legs, they're always out of the way, and there's nothing. Like, it's just a slab that's adjustable height.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm like, this is all you need. This is all you actually need.
Well, some people
you can just put shit all over the place.
Some people like fancy stuff.
What's great is that since there's nothing under it, no backboard and nothing going on, you can just thoughtlessly change the height whenever you want, and all that matters is whether or not your like monitors have cables that are long enough, which they should, because it's right there.
Yeah.
So like really it's like, oh yeah, this whole complicated thing I work on all day, because it's all just cables, adjusting its height affects nothing, and it just seamlessly happens. I'm like, this is cool. This is like the first time you do it, you're like, this didn't seem possible, but it's possible. I'm like, all right, I didn't have to take it all off or anything.
Yeah, it is nice to be able to just change.
Because the first fear you have is like, I'm gonna have to clear this entire table in order to like change its height or something.
Yeah,
surely something will happen, but no.
They have those fancier ones that you could do with a button. You're just like boop boop, and it's like automatically.
I just got a hand crank.
Which is fine. Like I see people doing that. It's like, how often do you change your damn desk? Every day?
It's a lot of that has to draw power or something and like be plugged in or something.
Yeah, it's like it makes no sense to be changing your desk that often. What are you doing? Like you're sitting there and working. You're like, okay, now it's noon. up desk. And it's like, it's like, okay, now it's time to transform into a businessman.
There's just a little connection point under the desk that sticks out towards the front, so it's in the direction that you'd want it to be anyway. And you just slide the thing in, and you just crank it, and it very slowly changes height, very smoothly.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, that's good. And then you go put it away again.
You just go back to life.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a good desk.
It's nice. So basically,
I have no idea where it came from. I can't send you a link. I don't even know how expensive it is. It fell into my life.
Yeah.
Because my old roommate just left. And then a lot of his shit just stayed there. And some of it's expensive. And we just have it. He was like a programmer guy that like didn't get along with people and did weird habits of like the tree sap in the shower and stuff, and like all these weird natural remedy irritating things, and like 500 things of like tea that were in like tubs and stuff like that. And like he was such a frequent buyer that he got sent like souvenirs by them and stuff like that, like all these weird things. And like he would one thing in particular, he had a whole freezer in the garage just for storing all of his bison meat. He would just order bison meat all the time, and he would cook up his bison meat, and he had like a set of really expensive knives, and he had the nice desk and all these other things. But I always got the sense like he was just one of those people like he was like really good at whatever his job was, his programming job, and so he made money, but like he never figured out how to like adult at all. So he's just doing his work and / watching stuff and playing video games or whatever, then doing his work, and that's it. And that's all he does, and he just loops. So when he got a new job and he was moving and stuff like that, he just put some stuff in his car and then just left. Like his movie collection stayed here, his desk stayed here, his really expensive knives stayed here.
Maybe he doesn't need
bison meat cutting.
He doesn't need any material possessions. He's one with Earth, man.
It was an experience. He's like, there's no room for the stuff in my car. I'm like,
you mean a
knife block? How did you not have room for an expensive knife block in your car? I understand the giant desk that I'm thankfully just going to take now.
I understand the bison meat, which probably would go bad on the ride.
But he left it there, and I'm like, this feels weird.
Well, you could eat. That's free bison meat.
Mystery bison meat. Does anyone know what to do with this?
You just cook it like regular meat.
The knife block, I'm like, you get a box. And then you're done packing. Like, that's the whole process. You put it in a box, and then you just put it anywhere. It's probably more expensive than something you put in your car.
Yeah.
Having roommates has been a trip.
Having other strangers in your life is always a trip.
That are just there all the time, like one room away, and you're like, this is...
You think about the fact that like cohabitation like that is an impressive feat for humans.
The worst part is sharing a bathroom with weird people.
Yeah.
Both because everyone's bathroom habits are always wrong.
Comparatively to yours,
and there's also the thing where you feel less interested in cleaning a bathroom when you know that it's partially other people's filth, and so it's like, not...
Yeah.
Like I used to clean my bathroom, and now I'm like, now that it's sharing with other people, like it's so much harder to get myself to do it, because it's like, this is grosser now.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
It is kind of weird. But yeah. I don't know. I think that's just the unfortunate parts of living in a society.
We gotta fix that sometime.
Yeah.
This whole society thing.
Yeah. Paw Shadow.
Speaking of society, this is a terrible segue. We watched movie show.
What?
Devilman Crybaby. There we go.
Oh, okay. I was like,
watched some of that.
I was like, what are you
podcast?
I was like, are you talking about Black Mirror or are you talking about Devilman?
We also watched Black Mirror. Also, Devilman Crybaby. What? Like it's an anime that's on Netflix, and it's like produced by Netflix, but I think it's another adaptation.
I don't think it's produced. Well, it's probably produced by Netflix.
Yeah, it's an older. It's like a new version, like new adaptation of like an older manga or anime that already existed, right?
Yes.
It's like there's already an older Devilman. I've seen like a clip of it before, and it's like they looked like old graphics, like
it's Astro Boy era.
Yeah, Astro Boy and Speed Racer looking like visuals, where it's massively different.
It's back in like the 60s.
Guessing the tone was probably pretty different in a lot of ways.
Yes,
and so it's like weird. It's so weird because we're watching this anime and it feels like it's a midpoint between like Ultimate Hellsing and Astro Boy.
Yeah,
where it's like there's like the and also some Fooly Cooly, weirdly enough, because like it's got that it's got that hyper saturated, like cartoonish, like not quite anime trope, like not lockstep with anime trope, like art style.
Yeah.
That's like really eye catching and pops. And like, I love it when an anime looks like that. So like that's where that's the tiny piece of Fully Clothed
like,
is just entirely visual.
Yeah, kind of Space Dandy is another one that does the same kind of thing.
But then the hyper violence of like Hellsing, like Ultimate Hellsing, where just like people are just being literally like ripped into pieces on screen. But simultaneously, it's got the tone and the story of like an Astro Boy era anime. So it's like people like, oh, I'm Devil Boy, and like making these weird declarations while gonna fight people and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is it? It's been the most wildly entertaining thing that I don't know what to feel about otherwise, besides the fact that I'm consistently entertained by it.
I think with Devilman, I've only seen half of it so far.
You've seen 4 out of 10 episodes. I've seen 6.
Yeah, so
and 6 is a turning point.
I imagine
like,
so.
The first half is kind of like Monster of the Week for a bit. And then once you hit episode 6, it's like, now here's the paradigm shift for the entire season.
Yeah, Devilman's one of those series that I think their only fault is trying to keep things remnant of the old Devilman.
It's weird, right? When it feels like they're blatantly doing something because it's from the old one in some way.
Like, I mean, there's literally a scene where he talks to one of the devils as if he knows who that is. Like, the gelatin guy is like, I know. It's like, you should have known better, gelatin. And I'm like, excuse me, hold on. I just arrived. It is currently 2018. I did not watch Devilman back in the 50s. Who's gelatin?
They also pull that weird trick. They pull the weird trick where they make the old Devilman canon in the new Devilman.
No, they made the old Devilman a show,
but also maybe also canon, because like he seems to be name checking characters from the old show at times, but also like oh, I saw Devilman when I was growing up is like a line you'll see, and like in episode 2, the little boy that the main character lives with goes on the computer and he loads up the theme song for the original Devilman like on YouTube, and I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, then, like there's an offhand comment where it's like, Devilman wasn't that on TV like a couple of years or like back in the day or something?
It is. Like, it's been the weirdest ride.
But everything else is great about it. Like that's the thing that's tough about it, because like when I look at it from,
the setup's great, the art's fantastic, the sound design on a regular basis, like all those great moments of like synthwave playing while a motorcycle's going down the freeway. You're like,
it's just I kind of wish the beginning section of the series had a little bit more thought put into the plot. I wish there was a little bit. It doesn't have to be like this over important story or anything like that. It's
very much like a monster happens each episode.
You could do the monster of the week. That's not the problem I have. The problem I have is like it's so jarring how they do it. Like literally, there's a scene where, what is it? In the first episode, the scene where like after one of the guys gets injured, like the friend of the main character gets injured, and the main character is like thinking about it, and then he goes to visit him, and he just goes to visit him.
Yeah,
and it doesn't explain how that happened. I was like sitting there like, wait, do you know where he is? And then he just shows up. He's like, well, thanks for showing up. And I was like, wait, no.
The reveal that is that I think he was in like a rich person hospital or something.
He was into
like this doesn't look like a hospital at all, but it was like a massive area. Yeah, like his normal living spaces somehow.
It's like, but he was in a hospital, but I didn't know that he went to a hospital. Me, the audience member, had no idea what's like. All the characters know way more about what's going on than I know, and that's kind of confusing because even the main character, who is theoretically even less in the know, is in the know.
Case because we're talking about the transition from episode 1 to 2.
Yeah,
the main character doesn't know what's going on,
but he knows that
he knew that bit. But
there's other parts,
the omissions of information sort of match with his omissions of information because he also doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah,
like one of the big things is like is that 9S straight up says like, yeah, you saved everyone. And it's like, that's not what I saw last episode.
Yeah,
like he's straight up lying to him. Which, by the way, it's a real trip watching this. You were recognizing voices in the Japanese version. Yes. I was watching it in English because I'm that person. And
but whatever's easiest.
Which I also played Nier Automata in English. And the guy that played 9S, a character, so in Nier Automata, there's androids versus robots, essentially, or machines, or whatever they call them, which is like, if you're confused about what the hell the line between those two is, that's kind of the story. But yeah, but like there's these androids that think they're more like humans, and they're versus like what they think are like soulless robots, basically.
Okay.
And in that, the secondary character next to the main character that's like the hero one you're playing as in the game is this like short-haired blonde boy that talks that will always reinforce they don't have feelings anyway, they're soulless anyway, and stuff like that. It's okay to kill them, and like they can't think, they're just machines and stuff like that. And throughout all of Devilman Crybaby is this secondary short-haired blonde guy played by the same voice actor.
Wait, really?
Yes. saying the same things about the demons. I'm like, this is fucking with me. Like, yeah, it's the voice actor that plays 9S in Nier Automata is playing the same character almost in Devilman Crybaby.
Yeah.
Like, this is a trip. He looks like the character. He sounds like the character. He's saying the same thing where he keeps telling the main character not to feel about the things they're killing. And that's like, that sounds intentional. That seems kind of like something you do on purpose.
Yeah, that seems weird.
Just like how the ones like cut to silence moment that happens that I've seen so far in the season sounds like they saw. It feels like they saw Last Jedi and we're like, let's add that in the last second. It's a fun little silence trick. Let's just slip that in there real quick because that worked really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything else about Devilman is really fun. I guess I kept seeing people were put off by the sexual stuff.
Good. We should mention the warning in general about the show.
Oh yeah, warning! Devilman is not a children-friendly anime.
You might have forgot anime could be that.
Anime is free to be as graphic and violent or pornographic as it wants to be.
But the more it homogenizes on the popular networks, the more it kind of has been like losing edges a lot of the time. And this one feels like a 90s anime when it was like back when a guy would grab someone's skull and break it and stuff like that. Like that kind of shit's happening. This
feels like old school 90s. We don't care about the FCC.
Original Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Like moments of shocking violence will be included in this show type anime.
Yeah. There's scenes where people go from, I think there's literally a scene of a guy having sex with a girl and the vagina just eats him. And it grows
like mandibles and attacks him because she becomes a demon.
Yeah.
And he just splits in half.
Like, yeah, I think the first instance of witnessing demons is literally some girl's tits becoming demons. They fly off of her and then they like grow mouths and start eating people.
Insane visuals of like...
Yeah, and it's great. Okay. It's so well animated. It sounds amazing. Yeah. Everyone's putting their 100% in. It's just, be careful. Like, this is not something you watch.
Yeah, this is not...
Like, you don't watch...
I'm just imagining, like, as a kid... My mom thought all cartoons and video games were for kids, period.
Yes.
So I played a lot of mature rated games, and I watched like anime that wasn't quite for my age and stuff like that. When I was like 7, I was watching like Tenchu and shit like that, and or Tenchi, and I was just thinking of like, what if I had encountered Devilman Crybaby as like an 8-year-old? Like the fucking weird ass. This blows out of the water all the stuff that I ever saw as a kid. Because my parents weren't paying attention.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those that, I mean, it does say, Netflix isn't bad about it either. They clearly label it as TVMA. So you know that this ain't, It's
very much like this is a Netflix show.
Yeah.
We get away with some stuff. It gets away with stuff that I didn't know they did on Netflix even. Like, I guess there's multiple things where I'm like, is it okay because it's a cartoon?
What, because it like shows boobs?
And the boobs I'm used to. But like, in the intro like theme song, you see like a bird monster with like boobs on its hips that has like a snake coming out of its vagina, and I'm like, that's fully drawn. I'm like, is it okay because it's a cartoon?
Oh yeah.
I think that Netflix draws the line at a thing being in a vagina on camera. Probably, at least I've never seen that in a Netflix show. So I'm like.
They do have. I think didn't Netflix for a while have what's that one movie called with Willem Dafoe in it?
Antichrist. I've never seen that yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Netflix had that. I remember someone streamed
the scene that's specifically known for Willem Dafoe at some point having like a prosthetic penis or something that people would go on about. It's like there was 2 prosthetic genitals. The woman have you seen this movie?
Oh yeah, I did. I didn't get to finish it.
You didn't get to finish it, or Was it your choice or someone
It
else's
was
choice?
definitely my choice.
Oh,
to not
so
finish.
you intentionally didn't finish.
I didn't get to finish it because my body could not finish it. So
Oh, you like reacted.
Yeah.
So you were so struck by the visuals of something you couldn't continue.
there was literally genitalia mutilation, and it was not. It was not like, oh look, we just kind of did a thing. No, it was like, oh, someone spent a master's degree in getting genital molding down to a science, and then decided to fucking destroy genitals. That's cool.
It is worth mentioning that Devilman Crybaby is like not.
It's not. Well, it's not like.
It's never like disturbing visuals.
It's always it's like ecstasy visuals. It's like someone's on super drugs and you're like, what?
It's like hyper stylized violence that's like over the top. But yes, that just happened. So the primary outcome is like
a good example is if you've ever seen the anime Ping Pong the Animation, FLCL, Space Dandy, or like the action scenes in One Punch Man. All of them are kind of like that, where it's that weird kind of fluid, bubbly
It reminds
style.
me of like if you're reading like Uzumaki and your reaction is to laugh.
Yeah,
because some of the scenes are so bizarre that like you're going to be like, this is so macabre that it's like horrifying, or you're going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like a reasonable response. The laughing version is the normal response to almost everything that happens in Devilman. Like on a regular basis. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's a lot of...
That's happening now? Okay.
There's a lot of stuff in Devilman that I just like... I'll just accept this, I guess, but I will not accept it without laughing. Like, it is hilarious.
All I can say is that it's just so wildly memorable and entertaining.
It's like a scene,
it's just such a trip.
Like a scene, he like looks up and there's just cum on the wall everywhere, and it's just like,
and his best reaction is after a second.
Yeah, he
just plugs his nose.
He plugs his nose if it smells bad. It is like, that
was the exact moment where I'm like, oh, this show's funny on purpose. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I saw that and I was like, I'm not entirely sure if the show's funny on purpose or if it's trying to be grimdark, but it's too stylized and wacky.
It's not understanding its own,
because like it's got hyper gore all over the place and like sex death scenes and crazy shit happening.
Yeah.
But then people will be like kaiju monsters yelling at each other and then massively goring kaiju monsters. Like, oh, look at the funny kaiju monster. He's kind of shaped like a heart. Oh, he's ripped in half and his spine's coming out. I'm like, it's like Mortal Kombat crossed with Happy Tree Friends sometimes, with like levels of like gore that come from the funny thing that's on the camera sometimes.
I think that's the point. I think the point was the old Devilman wasn't gratuitous like that.
Yeah.
Devilman was just like a save the day Devilman kind of thing. But they were like, you know what would be really cool is if it was Devilman but mature. But don't forget the fact that it was at one time a child show. So they keep like the same thing with a kaiju thing. They're like, I'm not, what are you gonna do, Devilman? You can't stop me. But then it's just like, and I murder you violently. And it's like,
what comes to mind is, you ever see the movie Super?
I think I have.
It's like that awkward guy with the split hair from The Office, and then like Ellen Page, and they're like, we're gonna be real life superheroes and stuff.
Oh,
like,
the
whole show feels like that, in that it's like a dark comedy subversion of what a thing you're supposed to take unironically as being a good thing.
Yeah.
Like superheroes, like da Superman theme, he's gonna save the day, he's gonna redirect that meteor, and all that like old timey like fun that was in it, crossed with like Super took that and then it was like, you're cutting in line, you're not supposed to cut in line, and then he hits a guy in the forehead with a wrench and he just starts bleeding everywhere, and it's just like, and then you just have to leave because like this is escalated. It's like people are horrified and like nothing's like, what have you done? Like like that kind of subversion. This feels like that subversion of like 50s anime hero thing where like a kaiju, I'm gonna turn into a kaiju to fight the kaiju, and I'm gonna declare my name out loud in every fight, but then I'm gonna rip you in half, and your spine's gonna fall on the floor.
Yeah, it's
like,
got
Jesus.
It's got that like ridiculousness from 50s and 60s superheroes, but then it's mixed in with like really ridiculous visuals and animation and stuff like that, and I think it's
just a ride.
It's just a ride, and I think. I feel like the people who were upset because I guess they were hoping for more of a more genuine Devilman, kind of like they wanted Devilman to be promoted kind of thing. Like, go back to Devilman, it's really good. And then they got this weird macabre.
I guess those people are Devilman crybabies.
Yeah, they are very Devilman crybabies. And I think they're wrong. I think this is...
I think it's neat.
This is the best thing. This is like the part about art that's interesting. Is that
this is what I want anime to be. Not specifically
Well,
this
yeah,
all the time,
but-
but like, I just do something.
Yeah,
damn
do something.
it.
Yeah.
Just want to shake it and slap it across the face and be like, fucking wake up. Stop just making the fucking same show about the same 5 girls that have the same 5 personalities that are all cute in school. Like, god damn it.
I mean, it's...
Do something.
You do what makes money, Keith.
You used to do things.
You used to do things.
You used to do things.
You talk to anime like it's a deadbeat now.
I also appreciate its story structure in that even when it's doing Monster of the Week, it does something that usually doesn't happen even in like hour-long American shows, which is that everything's set up in advance.
Yeah.
And not within that show, not even within that episode specifically, but like you realize once you're going through the whole Monster of once you're like 5 episodes or 6 episodes in and you've done like all the different what I think might be all of the Monster of the Week episodes, because it looks like something's going to happen next that's going to sort of change the show. Every single time you realize, oh, this is a character or a scenario we've been introduced to for like the last 4 episodes. Like, it's been sprinkled throughout the entire show up until now, and now it's the focus of this show.
Yeah.
But it's not like, it's not like you open a episode of CSI and like, oh, a jogger's in the park. Oh, no, they're going to get killed. And like, it's all self-contained within that episode.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's a character you've learned the goals of or personality of over like 3 different episodes, and you've seen them deal with things. And...
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's a lot... It does a lot of... Devilman does a lot of stuff in the background.
Yeah.
But it's like doing stuff, but it doesn't... It's not that it doesn't want you to notice it.
You realize it's important at first.
Yeah, but it does it openly, but it also does it in a way that doesn't draw attention to itself, and it doesn't try to make you aware of it either.
Yeah.
So it doesn't want you to be aware, but it's also not trying to hide it. It's like, yeah, there's stuff going on, but you're so busy with like what is happening right now that you don't even like just right there in front of you. There's something happening. You would put blinders on to
it's a real trip.
Because like there's a couple of theories I have, because I was like, the first thing that hit my mind was the first time you're introduced to the secretary, it's like you just see her down her shirt, basically,
Yeah.
for her delivering food. The second time you see her, I was
face?
I think you're literally a demon. And I was like, I don't think, is anybody going to talk about that? And then
No one ever talks
about it. And then it just moves on. And it's like, it's things like that where I'm like, I see characters, I'm like, wait, there's something not right here. And then
the show keeps raising new things.
And the show just carries on.
It feels like it feels contained, like it has a plan for where it's going and everything. But unfortunately, I can't confirm whether or not this season has any definitive, like, good, like, conclusive.
Because we haven't seen it. We both haven't seen the end.
My plan was to watch 6 episodes last night, then wake up this morning and watch 4 episodes and finish it, and then come here. And then I just spontaneously decided to sleep for 3 hours longer than normal in a way that, like I don't set an alarm, because one of the benefits of my job is I can just make my own schedule, which is probably what you do too, because we both have those kinds of jobs where that kind of works. But usually I pretty reliably wake up in like I don't know, like 7 hours.
Yeah, that's how I usually
maybe if I really push it, wow, I made it to 8 this time, but I was like fucking gung-ho, like 10.5 hours of sleep. I'm like, fuck, I gotta leave. Like, I woke up and I saw the time, like, I gotta leave now to get here, or today won't happen.
Yeah.
So I haven't finished it, but
and I mean, that's
I want to though. I want to.
Well, you'll get to one day. That's yeah.
There's some good stuff out there, and on Netflix too. Like I keep finding cool stuff on Netflix. Like I saw, I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, which has a obnoxiously long, weird ass title, and it's from the producer of Green Room, that one where Patrick Stewart is like a KKK leader basically, and he's gonna kill the shit out of that little girl from Arrested Development, and Anton Yelchin, which is also like a cool thing of like, oh look, the 2 different Star Trek actors are in a thing together, and then he died, whoops, because he died forever. The actor did, whoops. So it's the guy that made that, and he seems to be making like a Coen Brothers style movie where it's like a bunch of characters with specific personalities and like goals, and they all just enter a scenario together where they're all going to clash, and that's just like the scenario, like a Fargo or something.
Okay.
And it's just like a really good self-contained like 90-minute 2-hour movie. I don't remember how long it was exactly, and it's just like, this is just on Netflix. It's funded by Netflix. Those are just there now, like cool, weird, self-contained projects that, like, somebody just made a good thing. It didn't have to go to theaters or anything. It just exists.
Didn't have to go to theaters or anything.
It's like, yeah,
didn't have to go to that pretentious level of
and then because I had a weirdly similar title, I had to just go from I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore to The End of the Fucking World, which is also a Netflix series.
Okay,
made by Netflix, but it's a British show where there's this one girl in high school that's like later in high school who's just like just a furious little bastard. Like, she is just awful to everybody all the time, and she knows how to just like irritate people and put everyone off, and she like enjoys doing it and stuff. And then she like couples off with this one guy, and they're like, she hates her home situation, and they're just gonna run away from home and go on this road trip and just fuck off with no plan or anything.
Okay.
But the guy is the character you started the show with from his perspective, and so you know that he thinks he's he thinks he's a psychopath. He never feels anything. He never knows anything. And he's like, he's been killing animals in the woods and shit like that. And he's like, and he literally was looking at her in the lunchroom in the first place, because he was like sizing her up. He's like, will she be the first one I kill? Like, so like that's the first episode set up for a show. I'm like, yeah, I want to see where the fuck this goes.
It's pretty good.
That's a fun idea.
That's pretty fun.
She's just running around creating scenes in restaurants and being a miserable, horrible person all the time, while like this guy is just like planning on murdering her and like fantasizing about murdering her. In every scene, you'll have like a horror sound, like smash cut to like her being dead, of like, but it's like him is imagined of like whether or not he could get away with it in this scenario and stuff like that. It's like, these are great.
So it's like numbers mixed with murder.
There's
so
some
sitting there like doing the math, like, can I kill her without getting caught?
There's some fun weird shit on Netflix right now. Yeah, I'd recommend checking out Devilman, at the end of the fucking world, and I don't feel at home in this world anymore.
I'd recommend Devilman, because I've never seen the other two.
He has never seen those two, but maybe he'll try that show. I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see.
If I got time.
He doesn't like the humans in live actions. They're not 2D girls.
Yeah, they're not 2D.
Yes, they have to be 2D.
2D is bestie.
I have no idea how long this is.
Now we're 42.
Hey, we could probably fit a question in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see any of the timers in this room from here.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I just have to ask. We haven't gone through like last time's questions yet. What, you think I have these prepped?
Yeah.
Because I don't.
They're right there on
literally
the phone.
just going through them
They're
in order.
your Gmail. Just come on.
Let's see. It's a question from Maddie J. Hey, Andrew and Keith. I just wanted to ask, what made you decide to do YouTube of all things, and what were Andrew's previous jobs, since you know Keith was a geologist? I couldn't... greetings from South Africa.
Excuse me, what?
There was just like an outro.
That's not my continent. How did you get here? That's a very far away. That's like the furthest, I think.
Didn't we both work at Best Buy?
I built it. You then worked in it afterward. Yeah.
Or we're probably just going to finish this podcast talking about Best Buy, aren't we?
Well,
you have any other jobs you want to talk about before?
I've done a lot of jobs before. Because I've been a weird, I don't know, like a job hopper, I guess. I think my first job, I ever worked was Best Buy, which I think was
my first time getting hired.
Yeah, I think that was both of our first jobs.
Yeah,
like in the actual, like someone came by and was, give me your social security number, and it wasn't your parent.
Yeah,
like,
because I worked for my dad at an upholstery shop for like years and years.
And I worked for my
after.
mom with she did real estate stuff, so I worked with her doing data entry. So, like, you know, both times, like, yeah, they just pay you money or whatever, and everything's okay. But this is the first time someone showed up and was like, you now are owned by the state.
Like, no one asks questions because you're being paid by someone that you live with, and it's like, technically you're not a person yet or whatever, even though you're an adult in some of these timelines.
But, yeah, so Best Buy was both of our first jobs. I worked there when it was first being opened up, and I was fired before the new round of people got brought in, which was you and your group. So
it's a miserable, horrible job. I hate it.
It could be better if they just understood that time is a constant and it's okay to plan ahead. It's okay to like make a schedule.
I hate Best Buy so much.
Yeah.
Have I told the Las Vegas story on this podcast already?
The Las Vegas story?
Probably not.
No, not on this podcast, no.
Because like, yeah, on Best Buy, you'd have to like put in a request through the computer system to get like time off, or like, you know, like in since it's an hourly job, so it's not even like real time off. It's literally like, don't give me hours on those days and give them to someone else, and I just don't. I just lose out.
Retail didn't have it's not paid time off.
Yeah,
you're requesting an unpaid leave.
Yeah,
it's like
if you just don't give me hours on that particular day or whatever.
It's like if you have an unexcused absent from school.
Yeah,
like they still mark you as absent, but it isn't a violation of the school rules to do that.
Yeah,
like the school doesn't call the police and go like, he skipped school, he's a crime.
You mean asking for an excused absence?
Well, I'm saying
that excuse would be like the opposite, wouldn't it?
No, but there's sometimes you can get an unexcused absence.
Sure.
I don't know how.
Man, I haven't been in school for 10 years.
Yeah, I have. I don't know what
for
the
high
word
school
is.
and everything.
Basically, the idea is you can. Yeah,
but like you'd have to put in a request, and like I'd get it cleared, and I'd do all the things right. Then I'd be in a different state during said time,
even just a different city.
I would get a phone call saying like, "Where are you? You're supposed to be here today." I'm like, "What?" I got cleared to not be here today. We did it all right, but after I got it cleared. And I got the thing cleared to not be scheduled those days. They just scheduled me anyway.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that because they scheduled me after I left. So it's like, there's no way I would ever know that my schedule was
because retail places don't put schedules for more than like...
They're assholes about it.
I think it's like more than a week ahead.
You have almost no notice about what your future is going to be like. That my parents get frustrated with my brother all the time about that, but it's like, he can't do anything about it. It's like, if you want to make plans about like holidays and stuff like that, it's like,
you need to make
unless
those plans.
He puts the request in like a month in advance. He doesn't even know if he'll work that day. Like you just don't know.
And I mean, some jobs are like that, but most jobs are consistent schedules, or they'll at least give you a schedule for the month or something.
And there's just a thing of like, I'm in Nevada right now, so I'm not going to be coming in today. It's like, what do you tell them? It's like, you guys fucked up.
Yeah. And it's usually just poor communication because that place is riddled with poor communication.
That place is run terribly. And what I hate is that they think a computer's going to train you at your entire job.
Yes.
So like when you get hired at Best Buy, they set you down on a computer in a corner, and to try to avoid you getting questions constantly from people, they have you wear a white shirt at first, and you get to a blue shirt later when you're like a proper employee. Is what they do now. That's what they do now, at least. Yeah. You go to work in a white polo shirt, which you have to buy yourself, which is annoying.
You have to buy all your shirts yourself.
Yeah, but the other ones are like the Best Buy shirt or something.
Yeah, I think I still have all of mine. I always keep every shirt.
I went on my big geology trip with it.
Yeah, I think I kept every shirt from every job I worked at because I never knew if I was going to need to go back to those jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
if you had to go back.
Well, like to break in or something.
Don't take me back.
Well, I meant like if you want to commit a crime, it's best to have the employee outfit.
Crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd sit you in a corner and you just do really shitty, like a bunch of quizzes and things that have like stock photos of people smiling as they try to teach you about every part of the entire store in a single study session and test.
Yep.
And then you just start working there and like, you understand everything about this place, isn't that right? I'm like, no, I don't learn that way at all.
How does any of this work? How do you register? And it's like, well, you just register. The computer taught you. It's like, okay, well, I know how a calculator works. But that's not what this is. Yeah. This is a fancy machine that does very specific functions. What does it do? And it's like
when you deal with Best Buy employees and you want to know like whether or not they know stuff about like products and everything, they pretty much just know what they knew when they got there. So like for me, if I was in the video game section, I got shit to talk to you about. But like I get to the car stereo section and I'm like, it makes the boom boom. I was literally useless, and I would like people to tell me to go help a customer there, and I'm like, I can't, right? Like, I literally don't know,
because the customer should know what they want. Your existence.
Like, not only do I not know how any of the stuff works there, I don't even know like because you have to do a whole thing on the computer to like figure like the car installation involves like correlating like the actual stereo with like the car it's for and like a bunch of other steps.
You have to figure out what car it's for.
No one ever taught me how to do in a year and a half of working there.
That's
not a single time.
They're not supposed to because that wasn't your department and you shouldn't be in that department unless you are in that department.
And they've got so many weird rules about what you're allowed to do when you're there.
Yep.
So like I was a part-time employee and I was for portable electronics. And so they just wouldn't like I didn't have register access. I just never had register access the whole time I'd worked there.
Huh.
So I never had to work a register, but also I couldn't. And sometimes people would like yell at me to work a register. I'm like, you guys don't let me?
I literally don't have a login for
like it's literally like you guys are stopping me. But also like you would lose customers a lot because like people would come in and you do this long ass charade thing where you get them to be interested in this product and all this stuff, and then you don't have keys, so you can't get the product for them.
Yeah.
So it's like now you got to call somebody on your walkie-talkie so that the manager can come over with the big boy keys because they don't trust their own employees enough to have access to the products that they're selling because they're all like, they don't trust all these teenagers and shit. Yeah. Fuck these guys. So then you just stand there like a jackass trying to make small talk as like you just wait for like 10 plus minutes sometimes.
You hope a person will come and not get sidetracked by other stuff, which happens all the time.
Yeah, because for all you know, fucking George is having some long-ass conversation about TVs on the other side of the thing, and he's the only person on the entire floor with keys, so you can't get the product. And it's like, what do you want from me?
Yeah. Retail is literally the worst job.
No.
It's just the worst.
Also, pro tip, if you work retail and you're not paid on commission, they have all those stupid fucking promotions they want you to sell, just don't bother.
No.
I went my entire job mostly trying to ignore it. The one time I got somebody to be interested in signing up for a Best Buy credit card finally, and I'm like, oh shit, he said yes. I didn't even really mean to say it. It happened right when we were closing. And so I was there for half an hour after closing. Everyone's glaring at me for not helping them clean up. But I'm literally like there with a manager, like required to sit through this whole process here of trying to send this person up for a credit card, all just to have it like ultimately like fail and not work anyway. And I'm like, I could have left like 20 minutes ago. What the I hate this job.
Yeah.
I hate this job so much. I'm not even for my benefit or the customer's benefit. Because most of the things that they offer are explicitly like the kind of lopsided deals that happen at like a casino, where it's like this all benefits the house.
Yeah,
like you want to buy a replacement plan or buyback. You never had to go through that. You never had to live through the buyback program.
Nope.
Have I told you about this before? I think I have.
I know about the buyback program.
Yeah. We had to try to imagine trying to sell it to customers, because Best Buy had this system where a bunch of products like phones, which is where they really started from, but they tried to expand it to everything, like video game consoles to computers. Is like you could do a buyback program, which is like you have to pay a fee when you first get the product. That's a lot like what you pay for like the replacement plan, for example.
Yeah.
So you pay them now on top of the cost of the product for the privilege of, if you feel like it, later selling it back to them. So then later you can bring the product back to the store and you can get a percentage of you can essentially get a percentage of your money back as like a used sale, like you're at GameStop or something like that.
Yeah.
But not only is there, but there's also a really complicated chart that explains how much of their money they'll get back based on how long it's been that you can look at. And so like you have to explain this chart to them while also explaining to them that yes, they do have to pay more now to qualify for this for some reason, which is how no buyback programs work anywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why would you pay more now? Because you might sell it to them?
Not even the idea. You're paying them to sell a product to them.
Yeah.
You're paying them so you can sell something to them. And they will give you the money, but it won't be it's like, it's such a weird, scummy system. It's impressive.
Miserable. Every single system that Best Buy tries to sell you on for anything ever is always for their benefit.
Yes.
And be aware of this, on top of all the services that are all bullshit and basically predatory, we are trained as Best Buy employees to try to add accessories. So if you
I think most people know about the accessories and upselling.
Like if you buy like a camera or an iPod or any, those are gone now, but they were there when I was there. If you buy any like single core item, Best Buy doesn't make money on those really. Yeah. They pretty much sell them at cost. So what they try to do is they sell you add-ons. Like they'll get this camera bag and get this camera lens and this case for your iPod and all these other things, because those they make like 80% of the money on. Yeah. Because those are a bunch of like $2 products they're selling for like $20. Like HDMI cables for 30 and shit like that kind of stuff.
I hate their HDMI cables. That every time I see someone walking with one, I just want to be like a superhero and save them from it. Like slap it out of their hands and go like, "Here's a free one. It's cheaper." Like it's so.
Here's the free one. It's cheaper.
It's
and you know as
you can just go on Monoprice. They're like, you can get a 10-foot one for like $5.
As an employee, you know how much the con is happening because the employee discount is that you can buy anything in the store for slightly above cost, basically.
Yeah.
So you get like, that means you get like a tiny discount on like a 360. It's like, wow, you saved $1. Congrats. But you buy like an HDMI cable, it's like, it's $2.
Yeah.
It's like, but it says $40. It's $2. Just take it. It's because like you get it for the good price, and
you just got to be careful too, because if you buy one that's a Best Buy brand, they make 100% value on it, but it's charged the same amount as all the other HDMI cables because you can't look like you're cheap. So they make like 200% profit compared to everyone else.
Oh, it's
capitalism is fun, guys. Just you always need more capitalism.
You never encountered the 180 pass by.
I didn't look, man. I got
180 pass by. You were supposed to see somebody in the aisle, and you were supposed to walk past them in order to enter their personal space bubble, basically. But while you were walking past them, you were supposed to make some sort of observation about their appearance, like, I don't know, sports team or something like that. And then you were supposed to, after you passed them, then turn around and try to strike up casual, natural conversation with them.
Excuse me, is that literally a thing someone said to you?
All for the purposes of then segueing towards, like, a product eventually. Like, this really forced manipulation and stuff like that. And we had to workshop it with other employees before the store was opening, like during those meetings and stuff like that.
Did you guys have fun with it at least?
No,
you guys were like, it's all like straight faced.
It's all incredibly awkward and miserable because like all the management's there and like they think they're taking this they're somehow taking this seriously because they're all panicking and shitting themselves because right across this like right a block away, Circuit City was like closing down forever and stuff like that. So like they're like Best Buy thought it was next. So I was working at Best Buy during their panic era where they thought they were going to close down because Circuit City just went down and like it's the end of brick and mortar stores. Amazon's killing us all.
Amazon's killing us all.
That was the thing. I would talk to a guy for half an hour about product camera because I got really good at figuring out how the cameras worked for a while.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, all right, cool, thanks. And then they'd walk away and they'd go buy it on Amazon.
Yes.
And it's like they were using the store as like a customer service purpose and then never going to buy it there.
Yeah. Why would you? Why? It's a question.
It's smart. It's just like
it's a question
as an employee, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, but it's a question I look at people genuinely and like, why do you buy things physically at a store? Don't do that. Don't support that. Because, no, it's
Nothing
stupid.
At Best Buy makes sense.
No.
They want you to memorize the shrink numbers.
What? Those numbers are super dumb. And they're long, aren't
We're
they?
supposed to look...
and isn't there one for every single product that exists on a shelf?
There's shrink, and then there's income. Like there's spreadsheets that are printed like 2 or 3 times a day that explain how much money they've made versus like how much products are like just disappeared because of like stealing and stuff like that. And like as employees on the floor, you're supposed to review those multiple times throughout the day, and you're supposed to know them. A manager will actually quiz you on them sometimes, and then be like, "Oh, naughty face, you don't know the shrink numbers." Like I don't know if they were writing down or something that I didn't know it or something because I never did. And it's like, what, you want us to fucking somehow fix them? It's like people go to stores to buy a thing.
Yeah.
Like they know what they don't like, oh, I'm just going to walk into Best Buy at random because I feel like it's not a mall.
Yeah.
They're not just browsing at random.
Even at the mall, most people don't go into an electronics store unless they have a kind of a thing they want to look at. Like
they're there. Like if someone's there for a TV, they're there for a TV.
Yeah,
you can't turn a TV into a washing machine sale.
No.
Also, holy shit, yeah, Best Buy has washing machines and shit, which I would often forget about while I was there because no one buys them.
They have appliances and nobody touches them.
Nobody touches them.
You know why? Because Home Depot exists. And why would
nobody
you just
thinks
go
of Best Buy for appliances. They're going to Bed Bath & Beyond or Home Depot or something.
Bed Bath & Beyond doesn't sell appliances.
Does not yeah, you'd think it would.
No,
I guess it's not Bed Bath.
It sells things
Beyond.
For a bed, a bathroom, or beyond.
I guess the beyond is not the kitchen.
It is the kitchen.
It is the kitchen,
but it
just
doesn't
not the
sell...
part where that you put gas into.
Yeah, they don't sell the appliances. They sell all of the
stuff you put on the appliances.
Yeah, like you want a microwave? Gotcha. You want a stove?
They have microwaves, but not stoves.
I think they have microwaves. I know Kohl's has microwaves. There's a clothing store, which makes literally no sense. You go to a clothing store, it's like, hey, do you want microwaves?
Kohl's is a weird store.
Yeah, I don't. In any case, don't do retail, kids. It's a bad drug.
Don't do retail. It's a real bad time.
I did after Best Buy.
If you work at Best Buy, your employers will actively be punishing you for working at Best Buy.
Yeah,
they have a massive turnover rate.
Oh yeah,
I worked there for a year and a half, and there was like 2 people there at the end that were there at the beginning.
Yep,
and one of them was the manager. Oh, not even the manager. No, there's the owner. The manager swapped.
Yeah,
that time too.
The manager swapped.
Even the manager and all of my superiors all switched out with other people.
It's a huge turnover rate, mostly because people can get paid better a million places elsewhere. But I think for me, after Best Buy, I worked tech support for a while. I did a lot of personal contract stuff. Like people would just ask me, hey, could you fix a computer? Here's some money, and throw it at me. And I was like, yeah, I just won't tell the government I worked for 2 years. It should be fine. It worked out. It was fine. They never came after me in taxes. Yet. and you won't get me now, suckers. But then after that, I went to work at a at a card shop, or not card shop, but a card company. Worked for the
card,
like greeting cards.
Oh,
yeah,
Satan for me, basically.
Yeah. So
even much like the 180 pass by, like all forms of like manufactured human interactions are like revolting to me. Like I hate greeting cards.
Well, thankfully I was in the business of breaking them apart.
Oh.
I went to the stores and tore out the shells and threw them in the trash can. And
is that what you worked at, like right before, or like around the time we were starting Let's Playing or something?
Yes.
Like, you were getting like in a van and driving around.
Yeah.
I remember because I was like thinking about, like, I wonder if I can get in on that, because that was when I was that was during the era where I was trying to get my job and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
For like a year, I'm like, I can't get a job with this degree.
Yeah.
and I was like, maybe I'll go work with Andrew.
And it paid well. I genuinely liked that, because the group...
You got to hang out with people and drive in a car all day.
Basically, we sat in a car all day. I mean, the only thing that sucked was we didn't know what our day-to-day schedule kind of thing was. That sucked. But other than that, it was usually... Everything was great. Everyone was really awesome. And I got to break stuff all day. I got to smoke cigarettes and break stuff at the same time while being paid. And I thought that was...
Two of the best jobs I've had. Yeah. Like when I worked at the water board, one of the best things to do was when we'd go on the trips, our whole job was to basically stick instruments in the water and also scoop up some of the water as a sample and just like write a bunch of numbers down, but also drive to a bunch of locations where the entire path connecting them was like almost 8 hours long. So it was just a whole day of just driving and doing really minor work, then a lot more driving, and then just talking about like Star Trek or whatever for a bunch of hours.
It's fine. Yeah. That's like, it's the best kind of work.
And when I worked for my dad, we were just sitting there in an open shop, and we were just like, I was just taking like staple removers and shit, and I was just taking apart like restaurant booths and like car seats, and just like I would dismantle the seat, and then I would make marks so we could tell where they were connected. I would take like a razor blade and like split all the seams of the entire seat, and I could actually trace out the shape of all the individual panels on the new material and cut them out. And then my dad would be sewing them together, and that's the new seat. Yeah, it was like that's the repaired version of the seat, or if maybe sometimes you'd cut out like one panel and replace it or something. And like just spending all your day working with your hands and talking with people is like, it's pretty all right.
Yep.
Like, you get paid more for white-collar, like, office jobs oftentimes, but they kill you.
They're kind of boring.
They kill your soul.
Like, retail and office jobs are, like, really boring to do.
The only reason I know that the guy that invented cubicles hates cubicles and thinks that they were a mistake is because I was, like, Googling, like, cubicle depression while I was working in a cubicle. Because I was, like, trying to figure out how these affect people psychologically, because I was just miserable sitting in a gray cube all day and, like, doing the same task every day, basically. And I find out that, like, the guy that invented cubicles thought he was making like the Swiss Army knife, like crazy, like, oh, look how versatile this cool device is, and he thought he was just revolutionizing office spaces. And he never anticipated that people would use them to dehumanize office spaces and pack people as closely as possible into a small area and like make it all about hyper efficiency and horribleness.
How could you not think that?
He thought he was making a cool desk. And now he's like, what have I done? He's like Einstein, where it's like, oh no, that went wrong.
I mean, you can never... This came after Einstein. You can definitely not. You cannot fall for that, like, oh no, I didn't think it would happen. Humanity will always take the worst avenue if given the chance. You give them anything and they'll be like, how can I make people suffer with it? Mm-hmm. And you're like, no, can you be nice? And it's like, yes, later, after we make people suffer.
So the big job you took that affected the trajectory of our channels and stuff was that in the end of 2013, you got a job working in the Sacramento County for tech support in an actual location. So you had to move. And so I was like, maybe I'll do that personal channel while I'm still here. And he's not. I
got a nice cubicle and a lot of complaints from employees, but no customers ever complained about me. It was great.
So you never got any customer complaints.
No.
People just hated working with you.
Yeah.
Because you were ultimately like fired for your like
bad
demeanor.
Attitude. Yeah. I was fired for poor attitude, but I had most closing tickets and I never had customer complaints. Everyone else just hated working with me, which was fine because most people that hated...
Weird, because did they even work with you? Because aren't you all separate, basically?
Yes, but they didn't like...
They hated being around you because they didn't like you?
They didn't like it because I would get mad at them for having fun. Because we're in a cubicle, so I would hear them laughing or like fucking around and digging around.
You were the one...
I was like, hey... I was like, shut the fuck up. You're here to work. It's not a fucking playhouse. If you want to play, go outside. And people would just get so upset about it. It's like, well, you're making a hostile work environment. No, it's hostile because I can't see the person, so I can't give them a mean glare silently to make them shut up. If you remove the walls, then I can look at them angrily for 30 minutes straight on my break, and then they'll shut up. It was like, well, here, Andrew, take some stress balls.
This is a whole new part of Andrew that none of us have seen before, is strict Andrew.
I know. I go to work not to make friends. I didn't want to talk to anybody there. People came up. I think even my manager was like, Andrew, what do you like to do on your days off? None of your fucking business. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to work.
I fucked up every interaction I ever had with my boss. So like, I nailed it on the actual like
the interview,
which I always nail. I don't know why. I fucked up one interview, which is I was really awkward in my interview at the theater. And I tried to work there.
Did you work at Brennan Theaters?
No, I haven't worked at Brennan.
Oh,
I tried to work because I'm like, obviously it's like dream job for a high school kid because like you do like nothing hard basically.
Yeah.
And you can watch movies. And it's sometimes you can watch movies. Michael used to take me.
It's hit or miss.
Or a few other people to like. We'd go to like the you can go to like the free showing of something that's been out for a few weeks, basically. Yeah,
those you could do definitely.
And like that was just free. That was a cool thing to have access to,
especially in high school. Yeah,
I had a few friends that worked at that place that would just take me to movies sometimes. I'm like, that's a cool feature to have.
It's a great if you're like a single person because you're like, well, I have a date planned already. We go to free movies.
All right. But
hope you haven't seen this movie. It's been out for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of movies the whole time. There's always like the one that's the big one. And everything else is like, yeah, you want to see Green Room? It's a good romantic movie. Have you seen that movie? Because I mentioned it a little bit, and it's like
I have not.
That movie's it's like The Last Jedi of trapped in a room horror thrillers.
Okay.
Or that's the like with like the subversion of expectations and stuff like that going on. But I fucked up that interview terribly and pretty much knew I wasn't getting hired. And
I don't know how you
never heard back. I don't know. Maybe I didn't fuck it up, and maybe I just retroactively feel self-conscious about everything.
Because when did you apply to? Wait,
I don't remember.
Which theater?
It was the first job I tried to get.
Was it Brennan Theaters?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you probably talked to. Yeah, I know who you talked to. That guy's been there.
What I do know is that literally everyone, I was applying with at the same time as a bunch of girls that I knew, and all of them got hired. So I was like, huh.
That was the store manager. That wasn't the actual manager. The manager, because the manager is one, not interested in girls. Two is also like weirdly committed to this one particular low-paying job for life. And I do not understand
so he's just like gung-ho about it?
He is super gung-ho about it. I remember, like, the first thing he asked me was like, well, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I was like, I don't know, hopefully making a lot of money. He was like, well, I don't know how much money you can make here. I was like, whoa. We weren't talking about here in 10 years. Let's talk about somewhere in life making a lot of money, not...
He thought that you meant you're going to still work at Brendan 10 years from now.
I was like, what?
Something that's never true for anyone except him, apparently.
Yeah, that's why I was like, well, you're a little too committed, sir. You're never going to be the owner of...
I just get a high school job at a theater and then stay there forever. Yay.
I mean, I get it.
And then when all of my coworkers get replaced as they age out, but I'm still here,
I
can be surrounded by a bunch of really vapid and uninteresting 18-year-olds all the time when I'm like 28 and I'm thinking about stuff that matters.
I think I get it. Some people don't have dreams or goals or aspirations. People don't have things they want to do. That's fine. Go do something creative then. Don't literally work at a shitty dead-end job for the rest of your life. Go do something that's creative and make money doing it.
Nothing sealed the deal for me in realizing how much I've changed as a person over time since high school than being like a 28-year-old and like talking to a high school student again. And
yes.
Like, oh, fuck. Whoa.
Y'all
Whoa,
crazy.
Y'all are undeveloped. Yeah. Like, you got some weight. You got to get back in the oven. You're not done yet. It's like, holy shit.
But cook for a little bit longer, man. I think
But I nailed my other job interviews at Best Buy and at and at the water board. I nailed it too well at Best Buy in a problem way, because like I was too good at talking to the interviewer, and so what they did is they re-interviewed me for a different job than the one I wanted.
Because what did you want?
Because I don't want to deal with people.
Oh, you want to work in the back room?
Yeah.
You dummy.
I wanted to work in the warehouse, and they fucking re-interviewed me to take me into as a sales representative. I'm like, fuck. Well, they're the only people that called me, so I should do it, because I'm just gonna get shit if I don't come back to this with a job. And I'm like, I don't want to work as a sales representative. Especially didn't want to do it for a year and a half, but I did.
I didn't even know Best Buy. The only thing I will say that's nice about Best Buy is you don't have to work on commission. That's nice. I do appreciate that.
Which is good, because no one wants to buy things there.
Yeah. But you know where it does make you work on commission? Is fucking Staples.
Oh.
I went to
Which is weird, because people at Best Buy act like they're working on commission, and the people at Staples don't.
Yes. I went there because after
I've never encountered a Staples employee before.
I haven't either.
Not at the counter.
After I got fired from Best Buy, I went over to Staples and I was like, I guess I'll work. It's the same thing. It's just
the fucking Best Buy employees smell blood in the water and they swarm to you.
Yeah, and you walk into freaking goddamn Staples and they're like, by the way, you have to meet a quota every month. And I was like, no, that's. No, what quota and how? Because where are your people? I literally saw no one walking in here to do this interview.
The quota is that if no one buys enough Staples, you got to buy the Staples.
Yeah, it's a competition of who gets to walk home with the Staples, so nobody wants to work because they want those Staples real bad.
I've got the golden staple.
I don't know. That's the only thing I count my blessings for, because I've worked bad job. I worked for DirecTV.
You worked Walgreens, didn't you?
I worked at Walgreens.
How many jobs did you have that fast?
I got fired from all of them. You know what the best part is?
I have never been fired before.
All of them are for poor attitude.
I can't imagine where this trend comes from.
I didn't get fired from American Greens. That was the only job I never got fired for. In fact, I was...
You didn't lose the green job card for being fired?
No, they were actually...
So basically...
I almost did.
So basically your calling is to work a job where you break things.
I almost got fired from it because a manager... Because I worked for... So the way it works is that we're basically just grunts who go in, take shit out, throw it in the trash, bring new shit in, set it up, leave. That's our job. Our job is just to be machines. And that's it. Mm-hmm. We're not customer service. We don't talk to the store that we're working in. We don't help customers at the store we're working in. We are there to build and leave. Or destroy, build.
It's like a thing that everyone ever would assume that the thing you do is something that the people that work there do.
Yes.
So the moment you're doing it, it's totally natural to think that you work there.
Yeah.
Because who would think that like people come in from the outside to make the display and take it down? And it's like, it's bizarre.
And I mean, it's normal. It's normally, you know that we don't work there because we're wearing different colors.
Yeah.
So that's we always wear polo shirts.
But it's like a weird like adjustment bureau moment of like, oh, what the fuck's happening over there? They're changing the world over there.
You see people like working on the world wearing polos, but they're not wearing those polos. And you're like, wait, who are these people? How did this happen? But so we were doing a job, and my manager, the one we drive in the car with and brings us to our jobs, he told me to go in the back, take all the boxes, crush them, and then go destroy all the stuff we just took out of the shelves, which was my usual. Sounds great. Went to go do it. So I was waiting at the baler as it's crushing all the boxes and stuff like that. And some lady walks up and says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I am crushing boxes. I don't know if you can see that or not." And she's like, "Well, why are you doing that?" I was like,
"It's my job."
And I kind of just like looked at her for a second. I was like, I don't know who you are. Is there a reason I should tell you why I'm doing this? Because if you have a problem, you can speak to my manager.
Well, that's one way to make it weird.
Yeah, because I'm not supposed to talk to the employees of the store unless there's a problem. Because I'm a contract. I have no obligation over this store that I'm at. I can't talk to employees. I can't... my job is just to build and destroy. That's why I loved it. I wasn't meant to talk to people. And so
my entire job was just Minecraft all the time.
This lady's coming in here talking to me, acting like that's supposed to happen. I'm like, get away from me. So I eventually just basically finished bailing boxes. She's middle of talking to me. I just walk away. I'm not going to interact with you. That's not my job. You don't work. You're not part of my group that works with me. I left and carried on doing my stuff.
And what, she complained that you walked away from the mid-conversation?
She walks over to the person, my manager, and she demands that I am fired on the spot. And my manager walks up and says, "By the way, that woman is the district manager for the entire area. She's our district manager for our company for the entire area."
Why is she behaving like an idiot?
Why is she talking to me is the first question. And so he said,
why is she asking why you're doing your job?
Yeah,
then?
and so
well, a lot of top level managers are useless idiots that don't know what the jobs are that they're governing over to begin with.
She had just started a couple of weeks ago. And so my manager...
Maybe you could introduce yourself, stupid.
And so my manager was like so...
Just say who you are if you want to make this not weird.
Yeah, and especially because it is my job to not interact with people that work at the building. So like if I'm at a Walmart or I'm at a Walgreens or I'm at a Raley's, I'm not supposed to talk to those people that work there. My job, that's my manager's job. My manager is the liaison between us and the store. That's his purpose. That's why he is a manager and we are just grunts. And so a random person talked to me. I don't know what that means. I don't want to get fired because I'm fucking up my job. You know that I'm not supposed to do that. Don't talk to me then unless you introduce yourself as, hello, I'm your boss and I'm going to talk to you. That's how you should introduce yourself. And she was horrible. So she was under the impression, so I had to go over there and apologize to her. And so my boss was like, just go and apologize to her. It'll all blow over. And I was like, okay, fine. I don't give a shit. I walk over and sincerely I just say, I'm sorry, ma'am. I thought you were an employee. I did not know you were. She's like, I don't want your apology. I just want you fired. I was like, okay, well then I'm done.
She sounds like she's really good at being a manager.
Yeah. And so my manager looked at her. My manager looked at her and she was like, well, okay, so I want him gone. Like you need to go take him out of here right now. And my manager was like, okay, how about you get out? And so my manager's like, you need to leave. Just go, please. And so she kicks the district manager out of the store. And she's not, and so she gets,
because she's like being a crazy person. Basically.
And so he calls the general manager and he says, I have
there's too many levels.
Yeah, and he's like, I have a manager in here who's coming in trying to take away workers, and I need this job. We need this job done by the end of the week. And the guy ends up calling her. And then she has to come to apologize to me for this. I was like, look.
For demanding you to get fired when she just has no reason to be in any part of this. She's there for no reason.
Yeah, and so the end takeaway was like, we were in the car, we were driving home, we were all just kind of sitting there. And I looked at my boss, I was like, I thought nobody talks to me. That was the whole point of this job.
This is so much fun perspective to keep in mind when people are complaining about like the yellow dollar sign on videos.
Yeah.
It's like it can go so much worse in every job ever.
It's so dumb. It is so dumb. But no, I've gotten fired from every other job because of poor attitude.
And somebody tried to fire you from that job.
Yeah.
But they didn't read the rules.
No, they didn't read the rules. Otherwise, they would have got me fired.
Actually, on page 17, which loops back to today's section, blah, blah, blah.
I would have never been able to...
Well, you fucking trumped the shit out of what I was about to say. Because I was just talking about like how I fucked up all my interactions with my boss. But it was just like I was really awkward. Because like I nailed the interview because I was like in a state of mind. But then from then on, like I'm just working in a cubicle at this monotonous job all day, every day. And like every time he'd show up, it was a jump scare. Like,
because he showed up like behind something of the cubicle.
Yeah, because he'd come in through the entrance of the cubicle, which is off to my left, like kind of behind me, and so it's like it's just this weirdly terrifying moment of like, just like somebody's within your personal bubble, but they got there stealthily. Yeah, because all of your surroundings are completely blocked off from all sound and visual, because that's how cubicles work.
That's how cubicles are.
Which they suck so much. I hate them. But like, yeah, people are just fucking on you when they when they arrive. They're just at you, and you're like, ah. Like this is, it's always a, like not like not like a vocal startle, but just like there's always a moment.
Yeah, you have that kind of like weird reaction, like,
and then you're like, ah, shit, I didn't mean to do that, but they saw me jump a little bit, and now they're trying to talk to me, and then he'd be like, hey, growing out your beard or something, and like I'm like just trying to make small talk, and I don't make the right facial reaction. He's like, oh, you didn't like that, like oh shit, what face did I make? Like, there's too many layers of weird interaction going on. And it's also the problem of like, I don't know how to talk to your boss.
Yeah.
Because like your coworkers, you just treat them like, I don't know, fellow high school student. Like, it's like you can just talk to them normally. But your boss, a boss making small talk when you're not familiar enough about how to interact with them is awful.
It's weird.
You don't know how to talk to them and what's acceptable or what tone to take. So it mostly just leads to you sitting there, not wanting to make like the wrong reaction. But then it's like, but that's the wrong reaction too. And you're like, I just want to do my job, and you're making me question everything.
Yeah. I came here to work. That's my mindset. My mindset is I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be anything but literally a soulless drone.
I like friends. It's just when they're my boss, I'm like, I don't know how this works.
I just take it one step further.
I can't read the situation correctly, and I just make it awkward.
Yeah, I just take it a step further. It was like, if you just don't talk to me, I'll have the best job experience ever. If you just put me in a room, nobody's allowed in it except for me. You give me my work through a conveyor belt, and then I just do the job, put it through the conveyor belt. I would be your best employee.
It is good to just get shit done sometimes.
That's why I don't work outside of my home. I can't
That's why you're
do
just
it
here now.
Yeah, because I can't work with other people.
Fired from all those jobs.
I can't work with other people.
Never been fired. People like me a lot.
People like me too, but I don't like them, so I be like an asshole to them. I don't get away from me. People come up and just
no, just to remind you, I do this.
Yes.
Me.
Yes, it's like, I'm the one making myself get fired, but I'm doing
You take credit for all the opposite things people normally take credit for.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be like, oh, that job was a piece of shit. They just hated me. I was the asshole. I acted like a piece of shit, but it was because I made it apparent I didn't want to be their friend. And I don't know why they felt the need that it was not okay that I wouldn't be their friend. Like, that was a requirement for the job, was you had to be friendly with the coworkers. Like, no, it doesn't. I have to be friendly with the damn people that are paying the bills. These idiots are taking the money. Yep. Those people are giving it to me. I'm not going to be friends with the idiots taking money. If they're not here, I make more money. So kill them. Get rid of them now. Like, that's my mindset. It's like, if I just kill all of my coworkers, I make all the money.
And that's how you get on the watch list.
And that's why I don't have a job in an office.
This has been Sit and Discuss episode 3. We got through like 3 questions, I think.
I think we got through 3
and
or 4.
The one topic that I had in mind or something. I don't know. I got them in here on the internet. Not in here, on the internet. This thing talks to the internet.
We got them in there.
This is this is a box that talks to space. Don't question it too much. So I'm going through them in order-ish. Send your questions to sitandiscuss@gmail.com. Some of them might go quickly. Some of them might go shortly. Some of them we might lead to be like, this is a dumb question, and then we talk about a tangent for 40 minutes about Halo. Look forward to our Halo glitch playthrough in 2022.
I still don't drink milk.
Going back to milk now. This podcast keeps happening. See you guys next week. Are you still here next week? How soon are you gone?
What's next week?
At some point in a few weeks or next week or something, Andrew's going to be gone for like a week. Are you gone for a week?
I'll be here. Yeah, I'll be here.
So there'll be a missing podcast probably once. And then we'll be back. Because Andrew's going on a trip. We're going to go start recording Let's Plays now. This is how we start our day. Bye-bye.